Covering the underground with your boy Skippy Ickham, Brutal and T, baby.
Get 'em low. Watch me sing with the demons, another scene to turn heathen, hearing screaming. I went from bleeding to dreaming, the hatred feelings of my past, kiss my ass. If you ever think I'm back to being that, I'ma smash any memory I have of you cocky little bitches. Watch the devil when he laughs, ha 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 ha. Sipping Henny from a glass, is there any other way to bring a fucking deal to grass? I don't lack the fucking talent, feel the devil on your back, yeah. Is there really any other way to kill your conscience? I've been thinking deeper than existence, deeper than the logic, deeper like a prophet, deeper than Muhammad. I have fallen into knowledge and mistaken road. I've crossed it, found a godless promise. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell. Ripping it up, chopping them down, spitting the truth. I'ma spit it right now. I invest in my style, I walk with a smile. Be watching me grow. My flow isn't mine. I'm seeing no character, but for my child, but for my girl. But it's so high up in piles, but it's so high in the heavenly climbs. We don't fuck with you clowns. You better back the fuck up, or you get smacked the fuck up. I'm a big boss brawler, bruh, a massive one up. I built an army to guard me, if anybody harm me. I ain't came to party, I came to bear a warning. Chill with the internet, politics, ignorant media, owned by the parliament. If you're just stir shit, leave it alone. Joined by Illuminati and making the clones. The fact that it's hardly whatever you know. Y'all making it grow into a comical rendezvous, but when the story unfolds, see bullets and stones. Is there really any other way to kill your conscience? You've been thinking deeper than existence, deeper than the logic, deeper like a prophet, deeper than Muhammad. You have fallen into knowledge and mistaken low. You crossed the found a godless promise. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell.
veins. Revving up, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause see this is grace. Blood legs from my veins. Revving up, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause see this is grace. Slip of eye, I love to see your pain. Into a face in the end side, slide down a drain. To go queen and find peasants, alliance and mine. But my soul, I will never die. Bloodlust, homicide in our eyes, in front of to ignite my rage, scream louder when I feel okay. Say what I talk, say this in my name. When I die, when I flame, do not cry for no shame. But I feel no pain, soak in the rain. So I do not feel the fame. Tough friends pushing me to the game. I can see my carcass hiding every day. Beat 'em up, and it fills me up with rage. We are beast open the cage, the world is dying, welcome to a new race. Resurrection, intersection, I'm hell in heaven's gates. When ashes pour, rain, interaction with the beast. We just the more going to beast. Welcome to the triple 666. Afraid of crucifix, fix, last supper. Welcome to your final feast. As the Bible pages spread, angels preach, black arrange, check. Poison humans burning ashes. Simply mean that not collapse the fastest. But they cheer to cross slow molasses. How you see our space rocks and find all crashes. This the mark of the beast, no remorse. Only the chosen one will be spared at least. Take a seat, this is start to the end. Blood leaks from my veins. Revenant, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause Satan sings grace. Blood leaks from my veins. Rev it up, suicide drives my pain. Hate everything about the face. Listen up, kids, cause Satan sings grace.
Don't you know how I'll shoot you? Hands up! Now! Don't do not now! You're hitting children, sir!
I teach my kids beware of the police.
On the ground now!
They are not your friend.
Criminalizers.
They will not help you in time of need.
Okay, right in the United States. I know my rights.
I don't give a shit!
Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
This is America!
They wanna criminalize
Harsh
us.
times that we live in, but the news take truth, put a warp in us. Till the store turn back, strict time, put the dork in us. Strict nine to the spine while we trapped in a matrix, just like Morpheus. Cops pop more caps to the back, then baby criminal caps in the wild, Planned Parenthood abortion us. And all they ever wanna do is orphan us. Just to navigate the laws, every single American citizen gotta turn into a contortionist. Open the jaws and cram laws down my throat like I'm on a gun tote, but they forcing us. They giving the price to bear arms, but I'm sticking to fight to scare harm. Motherfuckers if they horse with us, making the course to dust. I represent we the people, everybody be endorsing us. And they never ever gonna gun forfeit us. They put the fork in us, now we done. If we really wanna get it, we can run. This motherfucker become something better than whatever they done. I'm a crooked cop, dead up a runner, cause I'm sick of seeing my brother's blood run. We need reform, but ain't nobody wanna listen, so I feed the storm and arm up like we're ready for
They
war.
try
Get
to
hardcore shit.
criminalize us.
Innocent American, better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a segregated with the police, gang bang, like a military, everybody better arm up.
Criminalize us.
Innocent American, better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a segregated with the police, gang bang, like a military.
They try to criminalize us.
Innocent American, better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a segregated with the police, gang bang, like a military, everybody better arm up.
Criminalize us.
Innocent American, better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a segregated with the police, gang bang, like a military, everybody better arm up. They getting ready.
Somebody, anybody tell me why the government running the city telling us lies. Realize every day you behind enemy lines. When they taking our freedom, don't give a fuck about our lives. Fake news, social media controlling the minds. From the popular opinion, man, I see for the lies. But they portray it to be holy, they deceive with the skies. Most leading the sheep is under us, they ain't in mankind. We need to open up our eyes to the signs, stop being blind. Later the break, well, like a nation confined. Have the population doing tough and nine, violent crimes. It's a sign of the times, how many kind of bonds gonna happen before we find a reason for the rhyme. How many times they commit treason before they try for the crime? How many times they take our freedom just for speaking our minds? For the way that we grind with little nickels and dimes. While we trying to keep my head up with this shaking and ridiculous. I'm fed up homies doing time for crime that we're victimless. Trying to enlighten my people, no one is listening. They only wanna hear about drugs and change. Listen, like I'm talking to myself, like the wind is what I'm pissing in. I'm never gonna be a victim of a battle with a mission. I was born a visionary, but most of the world not visionless and visionless. When we coming together, now we living this. Made in the break now, land in the cage, and enslaved all the people that took our freedom away. Trying to silence the truth and everything that we say. But I say fuck that, time to load the AK. Time to take this shit back, time to change our way. Cause if we don't change soon, it's gonna be our last day. Gotta look at ourselves, gotta find a better way. Keep your head up, be strong, and to fight another day.
Innocent American, better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a segregated with the police, gang bang, like a military, everybody better arm up. Innocent American, better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a segregated with the police, gang bang, like a military.
They try to criminalize us.
Innocent American, better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a segregated with the police, gang bang, like a military, everybody better arm up.
Criminalize us.
Innocent American, better be ready, going into battle, bloody war like a segregated with the police, gang bang, like a military, everybody better arm up.
Panties splitting into different sized The difference between us was nothing really listening wiser. Geographical positions made indigenous types of natives all around the world, so why you getting us tied up? In the bigger life between a billion sizes, shapes and colors. My brothers and my sisters are riders, and the vision is priceless. Which turned into religion was blinded. A war full of infinite fighting. With a man-made shit you reciting. If it ain't natural campaigns getting you fighting political matters, though damn shame killing you guys so your riches get catapult. Enslaved niggas ain't trying to give us collateral. Niggas was mad at those freaking citizens fighting in every single condition that the citizens citing. Assassinated our leaders trying to get us some rights and misled us with information that they give us in writing. I got from them, beat the freaking Christian inside them. Any sign of resistance, we put them in an asylum. If we're giving them rights, then put the same laws that we had for the slaves, y'all. Now them niggas are tied in, and the rage inside of them is freaking igniting. Gangs are forming, drugs gotta get it inside them. So they rage on each other now and really we like it. Now we locking on them niggas up more quicker than lightning. But to let them niggas free, they got a prison inside them. Put nail gun with a stigmatism to blinded. Now they lose when it's all I wonder if they can find it. Since the beginning, opposition getting this blinded. The media feminizing my niggas for prices. And it's all about riches, homie, it's bigger than ISIS. It's bigger than blood, scripts, and sickness we fighting. Cause when we fight back, then they criminalize us.
Innocent American better be ready going into battle bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready going into battle bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. They try to criminalize us. Innocent American better be ready going into battle bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up. Innocent American better be ready going into battle bloody war like a spaghetti with the police gang bang like a military. Everybody better arm up. They getting ready.
I've been out there 14 times for my people. You come over here and arm them. They don't have guns. They don't have guns. They don't. Why are you hurting these people? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. How do you sleep at night? There is no honor in this. There is no honor in this. There is no honor in this, man. There is no honor in this shit. There is no honor in this shit. There is no honor in what you're doing to these people. No honor.
Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. The entertainment age is here at last. Too many racing, but not enough gas. Marketing off a bill of fuels. It's not anymore when there are no rules. Yeah, and I'm just like any other guy. I try to stick a finger in the pie. Sometimes love it ain't enough. The crust is too thick. My gun is getting tired, and we just keep on doing what we do. No time for me, I got no time for you. You better get with it, or you will never get this. So, la 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 la. All I really gotta say to you, you get treated the way you do. So when I'm old and lonely, you'll be old and better. I'll see you later, 'cause I am a content creator.
Got a Charlie no Sheen. Now we out on the scene, popping the shit, you be taking this pills. I got the shawty, I gave her a thrill. This a big 80, we dropping that bomb with a hoe in the hoe. I feel like Santa Claus. Me and country never pause. Alice Cooper bucket head on my boss. Hey, disco party, drop the ball like it's New Year's Eve and they in awe. Give me a kiss, scaring the shit out of them. They take a piss, locked and loaded. I got the potion, damn. Don't you run off with that drip, bitch. Once I get up, they gon' swallow my dick. I got that Nike symbol for my kicks. Hey, flick of the wrist, breaking that shit down the white like a split. Breaking them guts open to the middle. No, I ain't first place, still ain't middle. I'm getting bigger, y'all just getting little. Little store, you a critter. Hey, beats and lean, more like drinking straight out of that bottle. I'm in that Hyundai, a fucking Elantra. Ain't no PR and I'm driving up on ya. Cooling my lyrics down like it is summer. I got a lemonade stand for your daughter. Come get this lemonade, sir. He bought it. Throwing that shit in the air and I lobbed it. Tripping, I'm leaking straight out of the faucet. Hey, straight out of the faucet. Ooh, and I'm seeing red for a target. Got a cherry, man, just pray it don't pop it.
I be fucking home across the border. Talking bomb, pussy, kitty mortar. I'm collecting money like a hoarder. Sharp tongue, cut the beat, torture. Mind miffing, mission never needed. Ass kissing, different niggas leaving. Blood drip on the path of bleeding. Bills crip, blue strip for beating. I'm defeated, price stay sedated. I ain't even trying, other niggas hating. See, I went and got it, other niggas waiting. Music making money, making then they play it. When the killer pussy, eat it or I play it. Can't get too specific, living if I say it. 24 a day, I'm working out a day. And 24 a brick, I'm flipping in a race. Rocking chucks and middle fingers, never fake it. Swear the way you live is hella basic. Play a role, you working in amazement. So underground got 7 in my basement. I hate all you niggas like I'm racist. Say the truth or blunt, you gotta face it. Take it straight, I know it's hard for all you fools who barely knew you niggas cannot chase it. Send a spit a clip, I spray and flip the shit up on some other shit, I'm shitting greatness. Liquid gold upon my mouth and lips around is drooling out, you wishing you could taste it. Got it dripping, vomit off a licking water in the kitchen like I'm trying to lake it. Pay attention, me and Jay are winning, keep the record spinning, bangers in rotation, metal.
Woke up, started with a bomb rip. At the table, need a second jab from a long dick. Talk shit, but I make a point to keep it honest. Post it up in my crib daily with a goth bitch. You not shit, I literally got lit. Spit him in your verse and you could dream of right upon this. Sipping broth, bitch, Ridge ain't got shit. I'm eating up the beat and I completely fucking lost it. Killing beats every day like it's medication. People steady waiting for me up in every nation. Do what I want and don't take shit from no one. And do call me a dick, I said his daughter sure can blow one. I'm an asshole and I know that I'm your favorite rapper. Text a girl and said what's up and homie, she got naked after found out everything you little pussy didn't do shit. Do the world a favor and go tie yourself a noose, bitch. Gotta slow down man, I'm getting too nasty. Hitting the loud and that shit gets me laughing. This shit is like magic, I'm lit, it's fantastic. It's been hard from the womb, bro, I didn't need practice. I'm busy with rapping, don't hit me with that shit. Crying, complaining like this is so tragic. I'm mesopelagic like up and above. We all share this passion, it's brotherly love. But now I'm back to talking shit, I always stay on top of this. I always do a lot of it, and now when I gotta piss because I'm always tearing it up. Swear this bomb be blowing up in Canada, bro. Making worldwide, moving still ain't shit changed. I'm the greatest rapper, everybody loves to hate. Your girl's my big fan, she said I love you, Jay. Seconds later on her knees and I fucked her brain.
The guy told us to take the money. He said, I don't want it. Says, all I'm going to do is kill you people. I have to kill you. The boy asked him, said, you really mean that? And he said, yes, I mean it. Says, well, he said, you're going to kill me first because I can't stand to see the girl be stabbed. He said, well, I'll do that. So he started stabbing the kid in the back. He told me 10, 12 times, but he had so much blood in him I couldn't tell. I knew he was stabbed several times. And then he stabbed the girl. This guy is a pathological, psycho killer. There's no doubt about it.
Here I sit, loaded clip, got to ride. Brought the SSI place with a ski mask when I arrive. My shrink told me I'm crazy, well maybe I'm actually normal. I'll turn you to a ghost for saying that paranormal. Rocking a tuxedo with a bloody tie. Time to die, covered up in particles from all the homicide. Hi, it's nice to meet you, I'm Chinzo and I'm not crazy. Just give me all of your money and you will live maybe. To hell with it, I'm not some motherfucking basket case. I'll mug you for your wallet and hold you upside down for your change. I'm the type of motherfucker to let loose. Killing us, filling us, shoving machetes in your caboose. I kill for the thrill and I'm painting this sucks. Murdering motherfuckers for pills and drugs. Got a big wad of cash that I took from your stash. Getting high on my own supply that I stole from your ass. Better have my motherfucking money every first of the month. I'm fucked up on crack and I'm a motherfucking killer. Uzi in your face, make your face news. Ooh, what you looking at? Staring at the face of doom. Pay up, pay up, pay up, ya bitch. Get your throat slit, every penny counts. Prick, motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Psychopathic hustler. Have my first of the month. I'm fucked up on crack and I'm a motherfucking killer. Oozy in your face, make your face ooze. Ooh, what you looking at? Staring at the face of doom. Pay up, pay up, pay up, ya bitch. Get your throat slit, every penny counts. Prick, motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Motherfucker what? Psychopathic hustler.
What's up, y'all? It's Lyric Zone from Brutal Business. You're now checking out Skippy Ickham from Uncovering the Underground. Check this shit out now. No one ever treated me like you did.
No
hurt was toxic. Couple times for the start, I blocked it. My bad, my heart was loving you, bitch. You knew the process. You acted wifey, we even picked out a wedding ring. Yeah, I'm moving in, your motors moved on to different things. Went from investing to claiming you don't have the time to. Always choosing to be so petty, we'll be your ride free. Leaving early, one day I might have to take a ride for. See you walking and talking and then he gets a kiss. Next thing I knew, I was staring at my bathroom mirror. Eyes bloodshot, shirt ripped, gashes on my cheeks, something like morning. A voice from the back of my head say, "One left alive and one best day." Sights, no one ever treat me like you did. Now there's maggots in the walls, feasting on his lips. Like it's my fault, 'cause I had to see your kiss. Was I'm the bad guy, yeah, I'm the bad guy. You're about to get it now. Shut your mouth and watch us work. Got a couple demons with me, see just what you deserve. Coming at you 3-4, promises don't get worse. Let me finish where you started as I bury you.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda been cool. Last week we was hanging out. Now you running your mouth. I ain't no better. Depression win when the shit turns out to be. How the fuck would you know if you love me when you don't love yourself? Dusting on the shelf, rusting away. I could provide, I could confide. I don't open up to too many people. I don't oblige. Parasitic ways got me running from your haze. Manipulation, stimulated by the simulation. Recreated from a broken nation. Procreation didn't mean shit. Ending up in that snake pit. Ain't no way to erase it. They could try to blacklist me. I'm blackballed with the voodoo black magic when the darkness falls. I got two in the chamber, through with the anger. But the white lies got a vamp, wanting to kill them all. Threatening to take everything and now you're really gone. Can you feel this blonde palm with the blood I'm on? I run the long game. You parasite leech motherfuckers, they filled with shame.
Arizona, man, this shit's crazy.
Sights, no one ever treat me like you did. Now there's maggots in the walls, feasting on his lips. Like it's my fault, 'cause I had to see your kiss. But I'm the bad guy, yeah, I'm the bad guy. You're about to get it now. Shut your mouth and watch us work. Got a couple demons with me, see just what you deserve. Coming at you 3-4, promises don't get worse. Let me finish where you started as I bury you.
I can't believe I caught you red. Hand it, damn it, it's all for heads. I really wanna get the gunner for you all with lead. You saw my dick and told me that you did it all for bread. And now I'm here, then I ain't leaving till you all is dead. Fuck, I feel like I'ma really go murder. Take a head off in the middle where they catch you with your bitch and I'ma get the bun and serve you like a hamburger. Sir, why you got your hand up, bitch, I ain't your fucking butt. Matter of fact, the server, give me all your fucking money. I'ma take it off into the rumble, you gon' meet your doom. You can save it with the bullshit, I ain't leaving till your blood. You know me? Why you had to ride this pipe though? I told you from the beginning, I'm fucking psycho. And now I'm in the middle with the mask and rifle, throwing both up in the van, handcuffed with blindfolds. Damn, I'm about to fuck up some shit. When I caught you just sucking this dick, I want you dog, 'cause I took a walk and I went and bought this, then I wouldn't be back up in this bitch. I admit that this shit got me pissed. I'm worked up with the heart on this bitch. Don't do it on this bitch. On the real, when the police come, they gon' find you on murder this shit. I'ma roll like a diesel. Drunk driver with your head up in the front seat. And I ain't with it when you dealing with a weasel. I put a gun and they be running when I drop heat. I kill a whole house and I get sideways. It ain't no love, ain't no fun if you don't die. I put the pistol in your motherfucking mouth. You was in the room sucking dick, bitch. Don't cry, don't cry.
Sights, no one ever treat me like you did. Now there's maggots in the walls, feasting on his lips. Like it's my fault, 'cause I had to see your kiss. But I'm the bad guy, yeah, I'm the bad guy. You're about to get it now. Shut your mouth and watch us work. Got a couple demons with me, see just what you deserve. Coming at you 3-4, promises don't get worse. Let me finish where you started as I bury you.
laughing. Pray for death. Pray for death anointing. Begging for mercy to scream. Like it's still all in dreams. Leviathan. Leviathan. Tore through the tides of time. Right through the walls of his crime. Leviathan. Leviathan.
Dope tone, high quality beats.
I will give you everything, I'll even sell my soul, just to make you happy and to fill this empty hole. But you gave me nothing and I felt my hatred grow, as I sat and watched as our love turned into stone. So I've come to terms that this relationship must end. The ultimate betrayal of a man and his best friend. I know you may feel justified, but I'll make you repent and make you relive every second of our last descent.
This is it, the point of no return. I'ma make these bitches squirm and my soul is gonna burn. My revenge, I've been plotting every minute since she went and fucking did it. Now they both can fucking witness their demise. I despise all that's hidden in their eyes. Life of lies, I reprise all the time that's passed me by. Sabotage and utilize all the demons in your life to publicize the reason why that I've eroticized the time of your death. Bitch, you had to fucking do it, let me waste my time to boot it. Leave me cold and so confused to think that I was gonna marry you. After all the things you put me through, I'll cuddle the memories in
it to you, how could you? How could you? But now it doesn't matter, bitch, I'm the echoes of your past. And I'm meeting with your present just to make your future burn to ash. Please don't struggle, bitch, I just wanna make you suffer for a couple more hours while you stare at your dead lover. Yeah.
Sit your ass down, have a chat with Iron Maiden, and you better fucking listen to the words that I am saying as I draw the knife in the shape of an A, so that every time you look at it, you think of my face, bitch. This ain't something I will let you forget, and the pain you're feeling isn't shit to the pain in my chest. You swore you were different, but you'll suffer like the rest, and your attempts to hide the truth are mediocre at best. Now as for you, motherfucker, I've got something special. You're claiming brother fam, but you're just an empty vessel. Where evil lives and breeds, you're a walking, talking cesspool, and I'ma pop your eyes out like a festering pustule. Your problem is you're always thinking with the smallest muscle, so I'm gonna solve it with an iron pineapple. And your begging and your pleading is a sound that's almost sexual, and the feeling of revenge is unexpectedly exceptional.
Zachary Blunt, I had nothing but love. It was 4 long years of a brotherly trust, but the snakes will emerge and they act upon their lust, leaving wounds that never heal upon the souls of those they trust. With a long thin grin, you've accomplished so much, tore apart a friendship and the one true love that a man could ever have. So now I'll peel back your fingernails and cut trails right up out of Zach's back fat. So this is how it works. I'ma start with this incision right below the cheekbone and reveal the vessels. It is slowly one by one. I'll eliminate the bonds and let the blood run down your face for every wrong you caused. Moving right on down to the ram set, to the hands, yes, a 22 shell blows a nail into the chair that you're strapped to when your tattoos are burning off with the superheated iron, bro. I hope the fuck was worth the loss.
Now the time has come, and I promise that you'd pay. You have no idea how long I have waited for this day. I have a lust for blood, and baby, you've got what I need. I will take your penance with us. Slice, slice, constant repeat. 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 Slice, slice, constant repeat.
What up, it's your boy Jay Caulfield, and you're listening to Uncovering the Underground Radio with my homeboy Skippy Ickham on Spreaker Podcast Radio, bringing you the best underground music. Holy shit, it's been years since I touched a mic. Still a piece of motherfucking shit. Yo, I'm an asshole. I'm a fuck up. Every fucking thing I say is fucking fucked up. Yo, I guess that I just fucking suck. Damn right. Fuck. Yo. Yup, I guess I'm just a fuck up. I just wanted some love, but I'm getting none, cause I'm an asshole. I don't really care, I think that I'm cool, cocky like a billionaire. I never really learned to shut my mouth. Every single word I say is what goes south. I've got no filter, so there's plenty of pop. Yo, anything and everything is setting me off. What's up, cunt? I never learned to respect. I do what I want. Yo, I'm the worst of the best. I mean the best of the worst. When I'm spreading some dirt. Yeah, fuck your reputation, leave it dead in the dirt. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care, I don't really give up. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care, I don't really give up. I don't give, I don't give, I don't give, I don't give up. I don't give, I don't give, I don't give. I don't give up. Right, once I started making some friends, I go and get myself banned from Facebook again. Yeah, try and calm me down, but the hate doesn't end. I'm an internet asshole, the latest in trend. I'll berate you for your views and point out your insecurities. I hate all that you do, and all of it is learned. Need to jump up in your comments or get up in your face and tell you since you're different, you're a fucking disgrace. I'm a grade A dickhead, a high class cunt. Yo, I think I'm gifted and fly as fuck. I don't care if you're my friend, cause friends are for cunts, dude. Before you block my number, just let me say, fuck you. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care. I don't really give up. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care. I don't really give up. I fucked up again. I lost all my friends. I don't care. I don't really give up. I don't give. I don't give. I don't give. I don't give up. I don't give. I don't give. I don't give. I don't give a fuck.
Teens, madness and sadness, happiness and joy mixed with depression. And those lessons we all learn from having these emotions grab us. Suicidal, homicidal fits of psycho rip inside my vitals. Awful G's. How do I manage this? Emotions that keep roller coasting in my ghost that makes me feel I am indeed a mixture of all of these. Hatred and love and peace and war, hardcore and then mixed quick with a little harmony. Let me go, let the flow go live like I'm a moment to the very in the center of your squad. I'ma spit it again cause I'm embedded deep inside of you like a chip in a robot. Shiny 5 is alive and I'm making it known from every emotion I stretch like Botox. It's son of a gun, heaven the bad seats. I can't believe everybody's rolling a soul off. Sorry doc, I really like it the way that I was made, so the crazy train stops when I roll off. And I gotta exhibit everything that's stuck inside of my prison. When I get a vision, I'ma go off. Got me feeling like my mentality bad on me. Gotta be the side effect of my motherfucking anatomy. Overheating the brain, be running ahead of me, recording whatever the data be gathering. Sane, I think not 1 million thoughts and they fire at once while I'm caught in the middle of a rock and a hard place. Take them to the Mars space case on slot. I can't think from the feels I'll be feeling coming up out of me. Ruckus like a bug shot. And I lie if I did not tell you I'm distraught. I deal with all these things inside. I don't know how I'm still alive. I am on things, madness and sadness, happiness and joy mixed with depression. And those lessons we all learn from having these emotions grab us. Suicidal, homicidal fits of psycho rip inside my vitals. Awful G's. How do I manage this? Emotions that keep roller coasting in my ghost that make me feel I am indeed a mixture of all of these. Hatred and love and peace and war, hardcore and then mixed with a little harmony.
All the confusion, trying to make sense of a life living in the dark, trying to figure out money, trying to figure out art, trying to figure out what in the hell am I doing here, and I fear that it's all an illusion. Have I traveled too far in the wrong direction, telling me to stay calm while it's all impressing, while I detonate bombs and prolong the messes, and I gotta make all of the music, all that I ever fought for, doing it for all your amusement. Everything I've suffered in every moment of trouble, the devil code in the bubble, it was all but abusive. I kept it all moving and thought I had it in check, but it fell out behind me, I felt the breathing on my neck. I could feel death coming, but I wasn't ready yet. I remember what he said, if I wasn't already dead. Ever since then, I've been a lightning rod. I feel it all so hard that I fight with God. It overwhelms every night until I can't even sleep. I panic and creep out to feel the banister creak. It's like a mental insane asylum inside my skull of overwhelming emotions, and it divides my soul. And I'm doing what I can to survive. I grow. Is it ever gonna end though? I don't know.
I deal with all these things inside. I don't know how I'm still alive. I am on things, madness and sadness, happiness and joy mixed with depression. And those lessons we all learn from having these emotions grab us. Suicidal, homicidal fits of psycho rip inside my vitals. Awful G's. How do I manage this? Emotions that keep roller coasting in my ghost that make me feel I am indeed a mixture of all of these. Hatred and love and peace and war, hardcore and then mixed with a little harmony.
We in the zone, no telling where it's got us going. No going home, things change, gotta seize the moment and own it, yeah. Tell me how you hype, just say so. Man, I'm living life, I don't lay low. Brought some weapons and I guess I bring a payload. Shocking out of anybody in my way, whoa. Tell the devil I'll be back to get my halo. Till then the motherfucker better stay home. All the power that I hold is finna blow the roof off. Any place I bring a mic, I might take souls. Back up, the shit is real as it gets though. Flow cold, dead nice like a headstone. Rappers popping up, I make them vanish like presto. Stop, drop and roll, I make a fire just to get smoke. Life ain't living it in luxury, nah. But I'm someone they all wanna be, yeah. Guess it's saying that I must just be the next best thing to ever come and touch the scene, whoa. Man, I make a wave like Poseidon. Soon enough you gonna see me with the trident. King in my blood until the day I stop rhyming. Which will be never cause my intelligence climbing. Look, y'all been irrelevant, better settle with bars. 16's off, rip like I'm a veteran dog. I've been better than many, stepping in the middle to spar. I feel a little me ain't literally a star. We in the zone, no telling where it's got us going. No going home, things change, gotta seize the moment and own it, yeah. Shit go hard, no doubt about that. Power for the moving and we bring it right back. Like I'm just going pedal to the metal in the fast life. Hoping that you get up on the way before it crash, right? Telling me that I'ma get it whenever the right time comes. But they will never be ready for that when I hype my buzz. I've been living alone and I'm feeling like I'm in the zone right now. So close to blowing up like I'm the bomb right now, whoa. Checking for the team get big. We all no doubt been on that heat wave shit. Everything we do is been a banger for your ears. Perfect melodies, we hungry so we eat that shit. Making waves at a rapid pace, I can pass the days. But talking crafty words in a crazy pattern for accolades. We have the greats and that'll be that. I'm just here to have the stage and rap to y'all what I've written and thought over the passing days. But it's plain and in vain to the whole game knowing that my pain and my game be the same thing showing. With my name be the thing that they all speak, hoping that I say every page, leave no line left open. I'm a G.O.D., you just a D.O.G. I keep my shit low key until the beat O.D. I'm in the Z.O.N.E. until I throw in the key. Just keep on throwing the heat, they know me, cause we in the zone. No telling where it's got us going. No going home, things change, gotta seize the moment and own it, yeah. We in the zone, no telling where it's got us going. No going home, things change, gotta seize the moment and own it, yeah.
Crawling through your window, crawling through your window. I'm crawling through your window, crawling through your window. I'm crawling through your window, crawling through your window. I'm crawling through your window, crawling through your window. I'm crawling through your window, crawling through your window. I'm crawling through your window, crawling through your window. I'm crawling through your window, crawling through your window. I'm crawling through your window, crawling through your window. I'm crawling through your window as you're sleeping tight. I'm the bogeyman, come to life, a mask of bloody shape in the night. Place my hand on your mouth, the other strikes your face. I won't leave a mark, but you best believe my rage will leave a trace. Coming undone, your clothes are gone, what you gonna do now, I ask? Begging for help, your words are noise that lose their value fast. Better keep it down, I'm not the one, I don't give a fuck what your boyfriend has. Beg at my feet, you filthy bitch, and open up that ass. Right here to treasure, right at you. Leave you broken down like the feeble little insect that you are. Stop me, I make use of you. Just to taunt you now, I let you feel me violate you with these scars. Cry me a river and take it. Like a good girl, your compliance is a must to make it far. Stop me, defeat me, control me. What's the matter, doll? You didn't know that this moment was ours. Just close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Just close those eyes and believe that you're safe, my dear. Trust in my words, but beware, I am the one you fear. This pain I bring shall release all the things you hide. Play my game and obey
slamming all the doorways when you try to flee. Not a good idea, I'm death in the flesh and I feast on misery. Tie your hands to your legs and now you'll never leave. I'm loving the noise you make when you fight with me and struggle to breathe. Hit you again, the bruises rise, your beautiful skin has split. Fear in your eyes, I hold them open and fill them with my spit. Feeling my breath on your neck as I force myself to beside your dried up slit. So crying for help won't save you now and only get you hit. Break you or make you berate you. Smother out your hope and leave you empty and dying inside. No one is coming for you. Just to taunt you now, I let you loose and cut free all the ties that bind. Defiled and beaten today. Leave from trauma blessed upon your flesh until your mind is open wide. The last thing that you hear before you meet the bag and get the number you're assigned. Just close those eyes and believe that you're safe, my dear. Trust in my words, but beware, I am the one you fear. This pain I bring shall release all the things you hide. Play my game and obey the way of the name or die.
Taylor about the fucking flex.
You already know what I'm trying to do. You already know what I'm trying to do for you. You already know, you already know. And I know I've been a little fucked up and I'm tired of all this shit that you put me through. Tired of all this shit and I know that you feel the same way. I'm tired of sitting on the same things. Every day it feels the same. I don't know why I'm so insane. All because of things in the games you play. You already know what I'm trying to do. You already know what I'm trying to do for you. You already know, you already know. And I know I've been a little fucked up and I'm tired of all this shit that you put me through. Tired of all this shit and I know that you feel the same way. I'm tired of sitting on the same things.
the sky. Gotta pump up. Just show me the feeling it's all out. I won't let it go. I won't hold it back. Just show me the feeling.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Uncovering the Underground Radio Podcast Show. I am your host, Skippy Yickham of Brutal Business Entertainment. And first and foremost, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. If you are listening to us live or streaming us or downloading us after the fact, please hit the share button. Share us around to your family and friends, as I say every week. The more that you share us around, the bigger and better things that we're able to do with the show and will continue to be able to do with the show. So please help us out. A couple new announcements that you might not be aware of. In the past, we only hosted and played through Spreaker podcast radio systems, and that's the only place you could find us, but we are happy to say within the last few weeks, we were able to add on quite a bit of new things to the show as far as platforms that we are now on. And with that being said, some of the things that you can catch us on is Spreaker, as we said, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Castbox, and also Apple Podcasts. Soon to be on iHeartRadio. We are waiting for the confirmation on that. But you can check us out on all those platforms. Stream us, listen to us, download us after the fact, or share it around. We're very excited to be teamed up with those companies. Got a great show for you guys planned this evening. Got Ghozt Tha Dmented and Bella Rotten, both of my label Brutal Business Entertainment, on the show. We're going to be interviewing both of them tonight, talking over different topics and discussions, getting to find out who they are as artists and people. So we're very excited to, get to pick their brain a little bit. Did want to go ahead and tell you that if you want to find anything out with my team, Brutal Business Entertainment, you can go to www.teambrutalbusiness.com. Again, that's www.teambrutalbusiness.com. There you can find bios of all the artists and models, all the bands on the label, all upcoming shows, the podcast itself, and anything else Brutal Business Entertainment news-wise, like I said. So a great way to kind of keep in tabs with what's going on with the team, what's coming up. We do have a lot of fun things happening right now. We just launched a couple weeks ago our brand new label mixtape called Anthems from the Asylum. That is an exclusive mixtape, 12 tracks from most all of the team here at Brutal Business. You can find that on any online digital retailer, anywhere music's sold, and you can get physicals through us. Check it out. Those songs won't be found on any other project or album. That is strictly on this specific disc. So hit us up if you need links. If you want to buy it from us, we'd be glad to get that out to you. Have a lot of other recent releases on the label, such as Blackout Chapter 3 from Demo Demon. You can pick that up on all online major retailers as well. Also, Metamorphosis from our band Primate. You can check that out on all online retailers also. And we have a few other projects coming up, like Nine Stitch Method's new album coming soon. We'll be giving you some details here in the near future. So a lot of great things happening here at the Brutal Business Camp, and we appreciate you checking it out and always sticking by us and supporting us. We do want to thank our sponsors, as always. First and foremost, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel. They sell hoodies, sweatpants, socks, beanies, hats, shirts, you name it, they got it. Not only is it awesome looking gear, it's very comfortable gear as well. I rock it at most of my shows, on most of my outings when I'm out and about. It's something I very much stand behind. Joe Ball is an amazing tattoo artist and entrepreneur who started the clothing line and runs his own tattoo shop. He is local to here in Pittsburgh, PA. And a good friend, good business owner. We want to support him, obviously, as he supports myself and the radio show. You can go to his website at www.tattooedscumbag.com, tattooedscumbag.com, and use promo code BBE10 for 10% off of any one of your items that you purchase or the overall order itself. So give him some love and support. We also want to give a shout out to Brutal by Design Clothing. They make a clothing line called Brutal Face. They have been supporting me and sponsoring me for the last couple years, so check them out on Facebook at Brutal by Design. Also want to give some love to Roush Designs, R3 Graphics, who makes all of our flyers and helps out a lot with the radio show specifically, and then Legion Artwork as well. Legion right now is on tour. He is looking for some funds to help put him through the entire tour, and I believe I seen earlier today he's doing 40% off of any type of exclusive hand illustration. So if you are an artist out there or anybody looking for good graphic work, go ahead and hit him up right now for 40% off of your order, and he'll definitely take care of you. Tell him that Ickham sent you. So we definitely want to thank everybody who supports the show thus far. We are on episode 17 tonight, and we have many more to come. I think before the end of 2019, we will have talked to and interviewed roughly 60 to 70 artists. So that's pretty impressive, as far as that goes, as we're just starting our first year on this specific show. And real quick, before we jump into the interview, I did want to let you guys hear first and foremost, I spoke a little bit about it last week, but didn't go too much in depth of it. We are launching another show completely separate from the music and interview stage of this show. It's going to be called Celestial Oddities, Pair of Normal Guys. It'll be me and my good friend Daniel James on that show. Daniel James is an actor, an entrepreneur, a videographer, and someone who's very connected spiritually to metaphysics and a lot of other things out there, ufology. And there's a lot of great things that he knows in that field of things. This show will specifically be about paranormal activity, ghosts and spirits, cryptozoology, demonology, ufology, and a lot more. So if you're into those type of topics, we will be releasing a lot more details soon, including all the artwork for the show. We will do 2 episodes a month, one with me and Daniel, talking over specific topics as our theories on those topics, answering questions from fans and listeners out there. And then once a month, I will be doing specifically an episode of listeners and fans' stories of things they've experienced in their life, talking over my theories and ideas of what could have happened, what it could have been, and so forth. So if you are interested in those topics, stay tuned. We have a lot more information coming out soon. That'll also be through Spreaker and available on all other online platforms such as Spotify and Amazon, Google, and all of that, like I mentioned earlier. So, just keep an eye out for that. Check out Brutal Business or teambrutalbusiness.com for updates on that as well. And we look forward to a great show tonight. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background behind who the guests are tonight that we have on the show, and then we'll go ahead and jump right into it. First and foremost, I want to give you a little bit of a background on Ghozt Tha Dmented. And Ghozt Tha Dmented has been rapping and around music almost his entire life. He was in a rapcore metal band, and after that band disbanded, he decided to follow his dreams and focus on hip-hop. He started doing shows in the late 90s, early 2000s, under the name The Ghost. But after a few years in, he left music due to shitty politics and a bad marriage that he experienced. Then upon his return, changed it to Ghozt Tha Dmented. After a few years of teams that did nothing but boost themselves, he was asked to join Brutal Business Entertainment, where he then thrived. 2 full LPs and a third on the way as well, as an EP and a remix LP. Ghozt Tha Dmented has taken the ball that was given to him by myself, Skippy Ickham, and run with it. He is also a pro wrestler. He founded Adrenaline Championship Wrestling in 2009, and now is a part owner of Code Red Wrestling with Phil Fleck. That is also promoted by Brutal Business Wrestling. He is the current Appalachian Mountain Champion. His wife, BBE model Bella Rotten, is also part of his career in the ring and out, as she is one of the members of the Ghost's Ghoul Squad and stage dancer and Ghost's valet in the ring. Now, we're also going to jump into the opposite side of that and tell you a little bit about Bella Rotten. Bella Rotten is an alternative model, stage dancer, wrestling manager, and trainee, and merch bitch. Married to BBE artist Ghozt Tha Dmented, Bella started modeling in her late teens. After an extended hiatus, she returned in late 2017 as she valeted for her husband in the indie wrestling scene as Bella Mi Amore. As Brutal Business signed her husband, they shortly after signed her, starting her back in her modeling career as Bella Rotten. Bella meaning beautiful and Rotten meaning suffering from decay. She performed on stage for Ghozt Tha Dmented as part of Ghost's Ghoul Squad. She also appears in the indie wrestling scene in the PA and West Virginia areas, working for Code Red Wrestling, ran by Fleck, and Brutal Business Entertainment Wrestling, ran by Ghost. When Bella is on stage, or whether Bella is on stage or the ring, you can often catch her doing those events or working as Brutal Business / Ghozt Tha Dmented merch booths. Without further delay, we want to go ahead and jump right into our guests tonight. We want to thank them for being on the show and introduce them to you. So without further ado, we got Bella Mi Amore and Ghozt Tha Dmented, or Bella Rotten in this case. We're switching it up. I'm going off of the bio that I'm reading, kind of going on a flashback there. But thank you guys for being on the show tonight. We really appreciate you being here. How you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Anything fun going on in your guys' lives at the moment?
No, just getting ready for tomorrow, getting packed up the merch and getting the gear all ready to head up to Ohio for the Ohio Underground 6th annual gathering.
Yeah, I did see,
With,
and
a
obviously I
couple
know a
fellas.
little bit. I was gonna say, yeah, I knew a little bit about that, obviously being on the team. But yeah, tell the fans out there what event is going on tomorrow. So if they're in the area, they might check it out, as that is obviously a big event.
Yeah, it's and well, it's hosted by the Toxic Factory. It's the 6th annual Ohio Underground Gathering. It's in Coshocton, Ohio. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Other BBE artists are on, as well as Nine Stitch Method, I believe. And it's a 2-day. It starts tomorrow at 5, and on the 12th, and then on the 13th we have I'm performing actually, and so is the Crazies, and I think it's headlining by Damian Quinn.
Okay, so yeah, really good lineup from what I've seen. Damian Quinn obviously is a great artist to perform with, as we both have in the past. Friends of his, I should say. So that'll be an awesome show. The line seems like on your end might have cut out a little bit because I looked at mine and it was still good for a moment. But you did say it was going to be you guys, East Coast Crazies, Nine Stitch Method. Was there anybody else on that from the team?
I think that's all for this one.
For this specific one.
And there's one in October that's going to have a few others.
Absolutely, and we'll keep you posted on that, guys, as far as to who on the team's going to be there and when that event is. I think it's October 3rd and 4th, if I do believe so myself. So make sure you're watching out for that later in the year. We'll have some really good announcements on that. That'll be a big one also. But make sure if you are in the Ohio, Pennsylvania area, or even if you're further away and you don't mind traveling, go check out the show this weekend. There's going to be a lot of great talent there, including a few of our Brutal Business artists on that show. So make sure you check it out and support local underground hip-hop and local underground music.
Yeah, I was going to say both shows are at Tony's Bar and Grill. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so if you're familiar with Tony's Bar and Grill, make sure you stop in. If you are not, you can check out the events page for that Underground Gathering, 6th Annual Underground Gathering, or hit up Ghozt Tha Dmented or any one of our artists on Brutal Business, and we'll direct you the right way. We're going to jump kind of into the interview portion itself. Obviously, we know a little bit about you from the highlights that we read during your bios, as far as what you guys are involved with, both in wrestling and in music. Why don't you tell us first and foremost? We'll start with you, Ghost. How we got to this stage of where we are now. Kind of a quick overview of your band that you originally were in. How things kind of changed directional wise for that and led you into hip hop. What you've experienced with some of the other labels over the last couple of years leading into where you are now, kind of a synopsis of that overview.
Well, like I said, like you said in the bio, I was around music all the time. I was rapping since, Beastie Boys and stuff like that. Always into the hip hop scene since it really broke open. But I always had my love for rock and metal. And in the 90s, I got with a bunch of friends and we formed a band called Reaction. Success. We had a little bit of success, and just like most bands, eventually they break up, and instead of pursuing another band, I decided to focus on strictly hip-hop and horrorcore, because, I really was into the Gravediggers and Mobb Deep and stuff like that. So I kind of focused on that, and I had a cousin in the Detroit area who introduced me to ICP back in the Ringmaster era, and I was hooked since. And like I said,
Absolutely.
I got into it for a while and realized that the politics and
I lost you a little bit again there. It seems like it's cutting in and out a little bit on your guys' end.
yeah, we got bad weather. So
I was just going to say, for anybody listening out there, if they are wondering why we are having some interruptions in connection, it is because we've been getting hit here in Pittsburgh area pretty heavily with storms the last several days. I know that, obviously, kind of a side note, your guys' basement flooded. Mine earlier today was under about 2 inches of water, which I spent about 5 hours cleaning today. So definitely we've been experiencing some issues there, but we still were able to keep the show, guys. But be patient with us if we do get interrupted during some of the answers or some of the questions. We'll do our best to make it through the show, give you guys the best product, but be understanding that there are some storms rolling through the area, which will affect the internet.
Yeah, our whole area was flooded. Roads, the town was closed down, state of emergency in our township. It's been a pretty bad day with that.
Yeah, today's definitely been rough. I know the other day when you guys flooded, I didn't get any problems there from my basement, but today, obviously, I seen all over the place on Facebook and the news just multiple towns and buildings and businesses flooding, and some of them flooding pretty bad. I looked at a picture of one business earlier, and I don't remember what area it was in, but there had to have been about 2 feet of water up against this building, so it was under 2 feet of water, which obviously ruins a lot. So, prayers to everyone out there experiencing any of that, and hopefully no one lost too much stuff there.
Yeah, that was a restaurant in Blanx. They lost their entire parking lot. Became like a mudslide with top of that, and there was cars getting slammed into the restaurant as well as dumpsters from other businesses.
And there was also in North Huntington, there was a daycare facility where the entire backyard area where like the playground is actually collapsed in a giant sinkhole. So definitely been some stuff going on, but I'll let you pick back up where you were on that. You were telling us obviously a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I had some success early on. I did the couple of the original gatherings of the Juggalos, and just the politics just were irking me, and it was more like, and I had a really bad marriage where I was unhappy, and she was pretty controlling, and where she gave me, well, if you want to wrestle, you have to give up music, and you have to, and just pressure from everything. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to put music on the back burner. And when we split, I was like, man, fuck that. And I started going back into it, and that's when I met you. Sean Kelly, a.k.a. Troll, actually sent me a video of you, actually, and was like, hey, I think you would really hit it off with this guy. And shortly after that, we met at Insane's release party in Millvale, and we've been talking ever since. And then when I was telling you I was in a pretty bad contract with this other label where they weren't pushing me the way I thought I should be pushed, and you were like, oh, well, if there's ever a time where, I might, bring you in, and sure enough, you booked me for that show, and I was told if I did the show, then they would release me, so I was like, hey, I'm doing the show, so please release me. And shortly after that, you brought me into Brutal Business, and like you said in the intro, I've been running with the ball ever since.
Absolutely, and you've been doing a hell of a job. You've released some great projects, since you've joined up with the team, a lot of great singles. There's a lot of great things happening for you, and I'm glad that I was able to be a part of that and help out with that. I mean, it was unfortunate that the team you were with wasn't presenting and pushing you the proper way, kind of had you shelved and benched in the background, and weren't, taking advantage of, the artistic, art that you had to push out there. They were kind of stifling that, and it's unfortunate for them that they chose to do that, and then not only that, but also to let you go because of something as foolish as performing with me. So their loss, certainly my gain, as a label, as a friend, as a a co-artist on the label, things of that nature. It has been a great ride. You've done a lot since you've joined up with BBE, and obviously proud of you and everything you've done. Fans are really starting to get to notice you now the way that they should have. So even though you kind of got held back there for a little while, you're making up good traction on everything that you might have missed over those years in the last couple. So keep it up, keep doing what you're doing, and think that there's a lot of great things to come for you. And we're going to kind of jump into the other side of that and hear Bella's story of, a little bit about how she started out in modeling, how she came into the music scene and ultimately became a part of Brutal Business, and where she's at right now with her artistic career and some of the things she's got coming up in the wrestling side. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that, Bella?
All right, well, I got started when I was about 18. I had a friend, her name was Princess Riddlebox on MySpace. She was doing a lot of photo shoots, but once I turned 18, she asked me to start coming along. So from there, I started doing my own. She would get me involved with a bunch of the site modeling she would be doing. A couple exterior websites away from MySpace, there was like Deadly Creations and all that. I was doing that for a while until I got pregnant with my oldest daughter. And from there, I kind of fell off doing it, focusing on my kid. And I was also in a pretty bad relationship at the time. He didn't like me doing any of that, didn't like me posting any of that. So kind of like Ghost, I was like, you know what, fuck it, fine, it's not worth the battle. So that was like a 10-year hiatus. And then when Ghost and I got together and he started doing all this stuff and was really supportive of me, I kind of jumped back in. He brought me into wrestling, had me valeting him, even though I had no fucking clue what I was doing. Then got hooked up with you, and now I'm modeling for Brutal Business with a great team of other models.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a good ride for both of you, and it's kind of funny that obviously it makes sense because I would have met you through Ghost, but I mean, I met both of you at events, as Ghost said here a little bit ago. You know, Troll, who is also on our team, shout out to Troll and his company, Troll Concert Videos and Humor, does a lot for the team, does a lot for the Pittsburgh area with underground shows. He had come out and seen me at the Rock Room, I believe, in Polish Hill several years ago at this point, and instantly was a fan of mine, came up and said, I really like what you're doing. I haven't heard anything like that in Pittsburgh. And me and him started talking and linking up for different shows and things. And that was around the time that I found out years later that he messaged you, told you about me. And then we ultimately end up kind of linking up, aside from that, had nothing to do with Troll or anything like that. But me and you end up linking up at the Insane E album release party years back. And obviously, started talking at that point, had talked a little bit on the internet prior to that. And then been talking ever since. Kind of reconvened and met back up years later at the Horror to the Core show at Howlers, thrown by Sean Schemmel from Primate, who's also on Brutal Business now. So a lot of things have come full circle over the years. Which, it's kind of funny how it all came about in its own odd way, unexpectedly. So that's where we obviously got to meet up originally, and then it led us to that show where we got to meet up, me and you, Bella. So it's just kind of full circle how all the things have worked out. And I think it's been a good union. And obviously there's a lot of great things we've been able to accomplish together as a team. And I think there's a lot of great things coming up here soon, which we'll certainly touch on throughout this interview tonight. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit, and we'll get from both of your perspectives quickly, the greatest thing about being a husband and wife duo in the music and wrestling, and also the downside of that, which is a question most people wouldn't ask, but I would like to hear that. I would like to hear what's the greatest strength in being a couple in the scene together, and also what is the weakness there. What's the one thing it's unfortunate because you two work together so much?
Well, the best thing is, like, being in previous relationships where I didn't have that. I was in a relationship one time with someone that was training to be a wrestler, but, that didn't pan out. But to have somebody in your life that actually is part of the two biggest things in your life, with wrestling and with music, and being able to share that with the love of your life is kind of awesome. That's probably the best thing. And to have somebody that's there at all the shows, and even the shows where she's not dancing, if we don't have like her co-dancer with her, she's still at the merch, she's still helping promote, working the merch table and what have you. On the bad side, it's sometimes there are days where we're sick of each other because we're married, and anyone out there that knows that when you're married, sometimes you have to have your own time. And
so you get sick of me, huh?
Oh, you know what I mean. See, marriage. But but that's the only bad thing about it, and that's not even really a bad thing, because we fight like any other couple, but it's not like nothing huge, nothing big. We'll
more
fight
like bickering and disagreements rather than a hard fight. It's more like just differences between us, or just really stress and agitation.
Yeah,
exactly, which I think everybody goes through.
And whenever we do fight, and even our biggest fights that we've ever had, 20 minutes, a half hour down the road, we're back to hugging and kissing and cuddling on a.
I lost you right towards the end there, but I did hear cuddling, kissing, and then I think cuddling on the couch. We lost you just for a quick second, but we got you back, and I'll help fill in those gaps if we do have a little interruptions, like I said, to let people know what was said, because I can hear it, but sometimes they can't as the internet cuts out. But no, I can understand that. I mean, Bella, would you like to piggyback off of that response and let us know if you feel the same, if there's anything different that you would like to add to that?
I mean, one of the greatest things is definitely like the undying support. I support everything he does, and I'm also involved with it. He supports everything I do, and as much as he can, gets involved with it. I mean, obviously, he's not up there in lingerie modeling with me, and I don't think anybody would like him to. But he supports it. He doesn't yell at me for outfits, or he fully supports it, helps me pick things out, and it's just great to have a teammate, basically. We're partners. We're a team. He's my best friend. Sometimes I want to kill him, but he's still my best friend.
Yeah, I get to see the modeling stuff, like with the new outfits before anyone else does. You know, say, hey, what does this look like? And I'm just like, yeah, keep that one aside. Well,
Well, it allows you to be, it's interesting because it gives you a different perspective than most, because your support systems and partners for one another, which helps keep each other going, motivated, and, powered to keep doing what you're doing. It also gives you the sneak peek of each other's art before anybody else gets to see it, to give critiques on it, to give support on it, and ultimately just see some great material before the rest of the world does. So it allows you to be each other's biggest fan and also be each other's support system, which is a great thing. I think for anybody out there that has a great partner in their life, they know that that partner really has helped get them to where they are and helps get them through personal things, life things, career things. Without that person, you wouldn't be able to make it through as good or as properly as you could without them. So, vice versa. Yeah, I think I said that backwards there, but I think everybody knows what I mean. A good partner can really get you far in life. So it's good that you guys have that with one another. Now, is there a downside to that, Bella, that you feel, or is it the same as Chris had said?
One of the biggest downsides is sometimes we have opposite opinions. And when you try to talk to each other about opinions, and him and I are both stubborn asses and we butt heads on it, that'll spark an argument like, oh no, that's stupid, oh, but it's not. You fight about the dumb shit. But that's one of the biggest problems, is two different opinions on the same subject.
Well, it's hard too whenever, you are both artists in your own right and both passionate about what you do. What gets hard is when you have two people that are connected romantically and also connected artistically and both very passionate about what they do. It does fuel and stoke the fire a little bit more than others might. And I've experienced that firsthand. Me and my wife are very passionate about a lot of things in life, and obviously involved romantically. And when you have those two different types of forces combining, it can leave room for butting heads at times. And at the end of the day, you work it out. You say you're sorry to one another, and you move past it. But sometimes you agree with one another. Sometimes it's 100% disagree with one another, and it can cause some friction. But still, at the end of the day, that person is your rock and gets you through. So kudos to the two of you for everything you've been able to do together, in the ring of wrestling, on stage with the music, everything else that you guys got going on. And as I said, we'll continue to touch base on some of those things. Now, Bella, since we have you answering that question, I'm going to have you continue on with that you did mention I did mention during your bio, that you are starting to get involved in the wrestling side. So why don't you tell us a little bit about currently what your status is of what you do with the wrestling, with Ghost, and also what you're starting to train and kind of lead into with the wrestling side. Why don't you give us a sneak peek on that?
Well, currently my main thing is I manage Ghost. When he comes out, I go out there with him. I get involved with the matches a little bit. I've been starting to take a couple hits here and there from the guys, nothing major, because I'm not trained yet. You gotta keep it pretty low. But as I start training more with Phil Fleck, I'll be able to get more involved with the matches. I'll be able to climb in the ring and give people bumps and climb up on ropes and do all types of crazy shit. And as soon as we start opening up our wrestling down here, I'll be able to train more. Right now we're running up in West Virginia, and that's kind of the only free time I have, is take a couple bumps before the shows. But it's going to be about a year process before I can get really, really involved with the matches. So as right now, I have voodoo dolls I take out. And, give them a little stab here and there, and the guys react to it. And it's a good way to tie it in without me getting too hands-on involved, because, again, I'm not trained, and there's, proper ways to do things.
Well, you're bridging the gap in the meantime, that you have a show and a persona that helps allow you to bridge the gap of not fully being able to be in the matches yet, but also kind of fill in that void until you are fully trained and can do so. So I think that'll be awesome and a great way of really bridging that gap, as I said. Now, Ghost, why don't you let us know, two things. Why don't you let us know about what your feelings are, with your wife now going to be soon in the ring and wrestling and taking shots from others. Why don't you let us know your feelings personally and artistically on that? And also, as Bella had mentioned, you guys are going to be starting something up here in the Pittsburgh area. Why don't you give us a sneak peek of what you guys got going on and are brewing on that end.
Well, like she kind of said, she's limited to what she does right now, just, from a training perspective. We found interesting ways to get her involved that are different than what most guys do. Like there's always you grab the guy, the other opponent, and on the ropes when the ref's distracted, but we're not heels right now. We're baby faces, which in wrestling terms means we're the good guys. Even though I wrestle now as my character, like as Ghozt Tha Dmented, my music character, I am wrestling as that as well. So to bring the darkness and the mystical type stuff into it, what we did was we got a bunch of voodoo dolls, and what we do is we kind of do something to each voodoo doll that looked like the opponent that I'm working with. We wrestled this one guy. He had a big star on his singlet, so we put a star on the voodoo doll. And during the match, this guy was a lot bigger than me, so when he's beating the shit out of me, she'll grab the voodoo doll out of her bag and go to a kid in the audience, one of the fans, and will take a pin and be like, "Here, stick him right here," and the guy will start, stick him in his back, and he'll start selling his back, and then I start getting the upper hand. And then there was one time where the guy was about to choke slam me, and she raked the eyes of the voodoo doll, and he went blinded, and then I turned around and I won the match because I was able to recover. We've had kids stick a pin in the voodoo doll's ass, and the other wrestler start hopping around the ring, and you have to suspend belief. Well, the last match we had, she was a little worried because the first time I worked this guy, at the end he was the heel and he was cheating. He low blowed me, and he went to brag. She jumped up on the apron and she slapped him, and while he was selling the slap, it was giving me time to recover, and then he turned right around into my jumping DDT, and I got the win. Well, this next time we worked, same thing. I had him where I wanted him. He low blowed me. He went to go to Bella and bragged, "Oh, look, there's your man." She went to slap him. Well, this time he caught her and then grabbed her and headbutted her, knocked her out. So she was worried about being able to take that headbutt. So I worked with her at home, saying, "Look, this is where he's going to do it. This is how I want you to take the bump. Take the bump on the apron. That way you're not falling onto the ground." And, she did it pretty well. So that was going to the finish, where then I lost it because as I recovered, I saw my wife laying unconscious on the side of the ring, and I lost my shit and basically beat the guy up with the chair and got disqualified.
I think it's very interesting. I mean, the display that you guys have worked up together with the voodoo dolls, with the slowly incorporating her in, and obviously eventually incorporating her in a little bit more. I like that. I like how you guys are taking it slow but taking it steady, and have built an image up around both of your characters to give you both a flavor that people like that you don't necessarily see. I know that you originally wrestled under a different name, obviously, for many, many years, and we're going to touch base on that as well. But, you kind of switched over to Ghozt Tha Dmented as your wrestling and music character, and then now Bella's getting incorporated a little bit more and more into that. So that's definitely awesome.
Well, it's really good because now I don't have to buy merch for wrestling and buy merch for my music. I could use the same merch for both avenues.
Absolutely. Smart marketing tactic, and just cheaper and easier overall for you, because to have two different lines of merch is expensive. It's a lot to keep tabs on. It's a lot to haul around. And the double cross promotion of being able to sell the wrestling merchandise at the music shows and the music merchandise at the wrestling shows, as they are all in one, the same, it just makes it a more cost-effective and efficient way of doing business, and ultimately helping bring in more revenue for you guys to continue to build more onto your merch line and more onto your presentation, which obviously is already very, very impressive. I mean, you have a hell of a merch line. A lot of different merchandise that people can pick up. Not to jump too off subject there, but why don't you tell us a little bit about the merch itself, since we just kind of segued into that. Tell us, the different things that you guys have, and it can be either of you that want to answer. You go ahead and pick, and tell us where we can check that merch out or pick that merch up at.
Right, and before I go into that, I also wanted to say it also, having the merch for both lines, it also works with the character because now the Brutal Business is also sponsoring wrestling as well. So, it makes more sense to have Ghost coming back as a wrestler. But yeah, merch line, I have I have several different T-shirts. I have an actual hockey jersey that's out. That's limited edition. We have for Ghoul Squad, we have a makeup palette, glitter palette that for the ladies, hats, beanies, hoodies, stickers, all kinds of things. And then I actually have this is the first time I've actually talked about it, but I have my own cologne that's going to be coming out within the next month called Hades.
Okay, that's interesting.
So,
That's, I think,
yeah.
something that's very different than what most are doing. So I think that could be a very good, move that most have not captured on. So kudos to you for that.
And then following up with that is going to be a perfume, the Ghoul Squad, of course. So it's just going to be titled Ghoul Squad. And then from there, we'll probably do a Bella Rotten perfume and maybe even a Brutal Business cologne down there. There's a couple different things I'm looking at, but the first one is going to be called Hades. And you can get all of the merchandise on my website, www.ghostthademented.com.
Perfect. Well, you heard it, guys. Go to the website, check out his merchandise, check out her merchandise, pick up some copies of the music and albums, pick up the clothing, pick up the hockey jersey. It's all great artwork, great merchandise. You won't be sorry that you did. You'll be happy that you picked some of it up and be able to support these great artists themselves, and obviously the Team Brutal Business, which we would really appreciate that. Why don't you tell us real quick, Bella, I want to kind of jump back to you to even out the interview here. Why don't you tell us a little bit? Obviously, we know about the wrestling side now. Know that you are a part of Brutal Business and you got into the modeling side, which we haven't touched base on yet. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the modeling side of Brutal Business, some of the things that the people can check out there, and some of the upcoming news of the modeling side of Brutal Business?
Like I said, I work with a great team of other models. They've become basically family. They're like sisters to me. I absolutely love working with them girls. We just did a shoot a couple weeks ago because we are actually working on a Babes of Brutal Business calendar. Now, details on when that's coming out and all that are still to be discussed. There's a lot behind that. Photos got to be gone through, edited, selected. Got to figure out putting it together and everything. We're trying to also figure out how to get posters in between some of the months. So we got that coming out, and the girls are also in talks of doing other events, like we were just talking about, maybe showing up in cosplay at one of the Steel City cons as like a group cosplay thing, just to get out there and do more. We're always talking about like events that we can do and how we can tie things in and go as groups, and all of us are also currently working on figuring out our own merch. I know Miss Red just got some sexy stickers that came in the other day. They are gorgeous, and you should check them out. I believe she posts them on her Facebook page. And I have a design I want to get drawn up and make t-shirts out of, and stickers and all that too. And, Painless and Denial and I, we're part of the Ghoul Squad. We do have prints available. We are also working on a t-shirt design that will be hopefully coming out sometime soon representing the Ghoul Squad. And so we're trying to get the model side really jumping, trying to get out there more, trying to do more than just post pictures, which we all are in talks to of we got to get our material up. We know we've kind of been slacking. We have life and kids and husbands and jobs, and like Crazy Kitty and myself, we go to a lot of events, and like with Ghost, I wrestle with him. I do all these music shows. It's hard to find free time, but we're working on it.
It always is hard to find free time. I mean, and it just depends on how, you structure your life around your passions in life, and how you fit in the different things you need to do. I sit back a lot of times. Not only do I get told this by friends, family, fans, and I tell myself this often is, Garrett, how the fuck do you find time to do all the things that you do? But really, this is all I do in life. When I'm not working with my wife and doing things at the house, I am simply doing music or art in one form or another, whether it be photography, whether it be music, radio, and many other ventures that I'm kind of involved with. I can't not do it. And I think most of us, as I've said on some of the past shows, when you are an artistic mind and truly have a passion for it, when you move past the division of just hobby artist into full-time artist, you can't slow down. It becomes not just something you do for fun anymore, even though it still is fun. It becomes a hunger and an addiction. And I think all of us are a part of that as a team. And I think that's why obviously all of you are here, a part of the Brutal Business. Is I found people who have the right passion, the right mindset, the right morals and ethics, and also the right talent in art to obviously push, and brought us all together. And it shows that we're all hungry. We're always releasing material. We're always pushing ourselves. And it's great to see, the team doing so. It's great to see you girls doing that. If you are listening out there, make sure you check all the Babes of Brutal Business out. You got Bella Rotten, who we have here on the line tonight, obviously. You have Painless in Denial, Misread, Crazy Kitty, and there might be some announcements soon on some other ladies of Brutal Business as well. We are not releasing any details just yet, but stay tuned and you'll find out about that soon. And as Bella had said, they are putting out the Babes of Brutal Business lingerie calendar, which is going to be sexy, it's going to be unique, it's going to be different, and we will be doing pre-sales for that a little bit later into the year. So if you are listening out there and it's something you're interested in, make sure you keep tabs on everything we're doing here at Brutal Business at teambrutalbusiness.com, which I mentioned earlier in the show. You can find out about all of our news going on with the label, including the lingerie calendar. You definitely need to pick up a copy of that on our pre-sale. That way you have it for the beginning of 2020. It's something you'll definitely want hanging in your home, in your office, at your workspace. And I know I'll be picking one up myself, so hopefully you guys will do so and support the ladies. There's a lot of fun and great things coming up for them here soon in the near future. Now I want to kind of divert, attention from the traditional questions of who you guys are and what brought you to this point, to bring up a subject that recently come up in talks that I had in the scene, and I wanted to pick your guys' brain and see what you thought on it. Now, folks, when I bring up certain things that I see, it's not to bash any artist in the scene or talk, or bring shade upon them, but there was a set of artists recently who had caused a little friction within the scene, and I had put my input in, whether good or bad, whether they agreed or disagreed. I put my input in on the matter at hand, and that was artists who promote, in a certain way. There's a lot of different forms of promotion out there, whether it be in the street, word of mouth promotion, going out to shows, handing out mixtapes or flyers, things of that nature. There is digital, online, social media promotions and marketing, and doing paid ads on Facebook and on YouTube and Twitter, Instagram, all things like that. There is, show promotion by just performing and getting attention that way. And then there is the form of promotion which, is very controversial, which is just mass spamming of fans. And different people have different takes on that. Some think that it's okay. Some think that that's absolutely a joke. And, we want to hear your opinion out there. So if you are listening in on the show right now, go to Spreaker.com and look up Brutal Business. You can talk to us through the Instant Messenger chat through that, or you can download the app through the app market. And if you are listening and already have it, throw us an idea of what you think. Do you think it is okay to spam, your fans? And what I mean by that is, if I release a new song, is it okay to tag 250 people tonight on that song? Now, when I say that, it's not just close friends or family. I'm talking just tagging as many people as I can tag on my list, or individually inboxing 1,000 people off my friends list my new song. Now, sometimes it does have a short message, personalized a little bit to make it a little bit more unique, but most of the time I see these artists just slapping me with a link. No hello, no how are you, just boom, check out my new song, here it is. And I might have never even talked to this artist before. So long story short, and to kind of get back to the reason I'm bringing this up, is there was a set of artists who had tagged quite a large number of people off their friend list. Some they had known, some they did not. One of the fans individually had been upset that he was tagged and said, don't fucking tag me in anything. I don't know you guys. I don't care to be tagged in your garbage music. Now, he didn't need to go that far. He could have simply untagged himself, moved on, deleted himself from the friends list. I do agree with the artist whenever they came back at me on my opinion and said he didn't need to be a dick. He could have just moved on. I do agree with that. But I also had said that I feel that mass spamming is a horrible way of going about promoting your music. And the reason that is we're ultimately here to make fans, to make customers, to build our empire of what we do individually and as a team if you're a part of a team. Pushing your music and gaining a fan is great. But if I just start tagging people left and right and slapping you with a spam and saying, boom, let me tag you in a song, never talk to you in my life, listen to my fucking music, chances are they're not only going to not listen to your music, they're probably going to block you and delete you, never listen to you again. And if you bug them enough, they might actually tell their family and friends and other people out there in the scene, don't ever listen to these people, which is kind of what happened. Now, I had put that as my opinion on the comment or post that they had posted, and they came back and kind of argued back and forth with me that, you know, if you're on our friends list and you're not supporting us, don't be on our fucking friends list. Well, I get that, but you got to understand that Facebook does a lot of people you may know, you might be acquaintances through another friend, things of that nature. And just because I have you on Facebook doesn't mean I'm a fan of your music. Now, I do agree that you should be, you know, if you're on my personal Facebook, chances are you better be a fan of my stuff, or there's no really reason for you to be there. But it isn't a rule. I'm not going to say if you don't like my music, fuck you, you can't be on my Facebook, because that's insane. But ultimately, that's what was told to me is, hey, you know what, if he isn't here to support my music, we don't want him here. He could have just moved on. And it started a huge debate in the underground. It started a lot of friction. These same guests, these same two, will be actually a guest on Uncovering the Underground late this year. So we do look forward to talking to them. And as I said, no shade towards them. But I did want to give kind of an in-depth overview of this subject and why I'm bringing it up tonight, because it's something that's been brought up many times over the years, whether right or wrong. Different people have different views on this. Why don't the two of you let me know individually, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's an effective and proper way of promoting, or do you think that it is, you know, a way of actually hurting your art and stifling your growth?
I mean, I personally find it kind of annoying. I mean, when it's you guys, when it's Brutal Business, you guys post something and you tag me in it, that's different. But people that I don't know, never heard of, never spoke to, they start tagging me. Honestly, I ignore it. I don't even give it a listen because it's just annoying. If I want to listen to your stuff, I know you're an artist, I will take it upon myself to do so.
I agree. I mean, my insight on why I said what I said to them in the comment, and like I said, it was not to cause any friction with them, but I said you have to understand that if I don't listen to your music right now and never heard of you, if you were to send me a personalized message and say, hey, don't mean to bother you, I'm trying to get some more reach on my music, would love it if you would take the time to listen to my music and let me know what you think and give me feedback. If you're interested, let me know. Don't even send the link of the music. That way I'm leaving the ball in your court. And if I were to respond back and say, hey, I appreciate the message, I would love to check out your music, send it over. Then guess what? You just gained a fan, or maybe I don't like your music, but you just gained my respect in a certain light. Whereas if you just slap me and say, here's my song, check it out, I'm going to sit there and say, this motherfucker didn't even ask me who I am, how I'm doing, this and that, and they just slap me with it. And they says, well, it shouldn't matter, just move on, unfriend yourself or untag yourself and move on. Well, in most people's lives who may not be big in the scene, that could be the case. But someone that's at a level such as myself and involved in all the things I am, they have to understand that I get tagged, slapped with messages, and asked to listen to an artist's music roughly about 200 times a month, and that's not an exaggeration. So 200 times a month, someone is tagging me or asking me to check out their music. I got to be honest with you, it's fucking annoying. As you had said, it becomes overwhelming, and I don't want to have to 200 times a month go in and untag myself from someone I don't even know, I'm not involved with. Yes, I do have a buzzing name in the underground. I'm involved in a lot of things that can help artists build, and I do help a lot of artists. But when you just blindly slap me into a post that I never heard of you or hit me with a blind message, what that earns you is blacklisted. And right then and there means I will never work with you and you'll never be helped by me. In fact, it's quite the opposite. So that's my take on it and how that came about. But I can see you feel the same. It is very annoying. I mean, Ghost, do you feel the same way or do you feel differently on that matter?
No, I tag people, but when I tag people, I don't go like hundreds of people. If I do something like a post, like an upcoming single or something having to do with Brutal Business or an upcoming show or a new music video or something of that nature, I'll tag about 50 people. And it's people that go to our shows. It's people that buy our merch, buy our albums. It's people that we've worked with, other artists that we've done collabs with, you know, to get that type of reach. I don't go and just randomly tag people. I actually go through like the alphabet and be like, okay, this person, that's a tag, that's a tag, that's a tag. I'll go through that way. I don't do the email thing, the mass email where you can, because I can sit there and do a post and then send if I have like 5,000 people on my Facebook, and that, you'd be lucky to get like a few people that were interested, and it would just piss off a lot of people. I don't do it that way. I get those. I don't get nearly as much as you do, but I get messages, constantly. Hey, listen to this. And if I know you, I listen to it. If you're on my team, I listen to it. But there's guys out there, like there's one, he sent me probably 3 different things in the last month. And he's out in the West Coast and he's like, hey, I'm working with this guy. I'm working with this guy. Check this out. check this out. And then, but he'll sit there and keep hitting.
Favorite is when they
Well-
ask you for an opinion and get mad about the opinion.
Well,
It's not,
that's
oh
what
my
I was
God,
getting
this
to.
is amazing.
So this guy was like, "Hey, listen to this, listen to it." And I was like, and then like the third song he sent me, he goes, "Could you give me an honest opinion?" And I was like, "Well, I haven't got a chance to listen yet. You know, I'm actually driving right now. So when I get home, I'll go ahead and listen to it and give you your opinion." So literally 5 times before I even got home, he hit me up and was like, "Hey, did you listen to it? Did you listen to it?" So finally, I listened to it, and he goes, "Can I have your honest opinion?" I said, "Sure." I said, "You're rapping a little bit off beat. I would slow down. You're trying to rap a little too fast. You're going ahead of the beat, and you're missing on your punchlines. You're trying to get too much verbiage into one bar. Just slow it down a little bit. Your lyrics are good. You just need to slow it down." And he's like, "Oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about," and blocked me.
You know, that'll
So-
happen a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people that they want buzz, but they don't want feedback. And that never made sense to me, is if you want me to be a fan, but you're not wanting to hear as a potential fan what I think of your music or what I think could make you a better artist, which would make me a bigger fan, and that offends you, then you're a joke and probably shouldn't be in the scene, because you should always care what your fans think. You don't have to cater to them. I make music for me first and foremost, as I've mentioned before. So if all my fans hated it, or all the people who used to be my fans turn around hate me because I release an album that's different, so be it. I make it for me, but I still always, as an artist, have to take into consideration at least what they say and what they think about the music.
Well, and it's not like, and I wasn't even rude about it, you know. I before I gave him his criticism, I gave him an up. I was like, you know, your lyrics are really good. Your punchlines are really good. Your analogies, they're really good. You're telling a good story. But you just need to slow it down a little bit. You need to stay with that beat. You know what I mean? And it would tighten that song up, and it would have been a really good track. But instead of saying, "Oh, you know, you're right, let me do that," he was like, "Oh, fuck you," and he blocked me. And it was funny because a week prior to that, the guy hit me up and said, "Hey, man, I really like your music. I want to do a collab." And he was like, you know, so, and he was like, "Can I send you this beat?" And I was like, "Well, sure, but you know, I'm not free. You know, I charge for me to do my work, and that's just, I'm in this business. I do make money from this business, and for me to sit down and actually record a verse. Now there are exceptions. You know, if somebody on the team says, "Hey, I want you on this," that's you know, I don't charge for somebody that's on the label, or even a close friends. But when it comes to, like, I don't know you, and you want to do business, then, you know, you're going to charge. And then when he goes, "Oh, well, how much?" And I told him, I said, "Well, I'm usually 75, but I'll do it for 50, you know, because, you know, I'll give you a break." He's like, "Oh, man, $50, man. I already paid for this feature and this feature and this feature. So, man, that's not my budget." And I was like, "Well, maybe next time." But, you know, he gave me a little bit of attitude, like I was just going to give him, you know, a verse for free. And some people frown upon that, but, you know, I believe that artists that are worth it, you know, should be paid. And I pay other artists to be on tracks with me. That's the way this business is. You know, I don't take offense when they're like, "Hey, you know, I need X amount of dollars to do this." Hey, you know what? You're in this business. I'm in this business. We're in a business both to make money, you know, so I don't see a problem in it. But there's guys out there that want, you know, they don't want to pay for beats. They want to rip. They want to steal beats. They don't want to pay for verses, you know, and that's why those guys are the ones that fail.
They are the ones that fail, and it's funny too, because I have a lot of people approach me for collaborations, and then they get kind of shocked whenever I tell them one of two things. You know, "Thank you for reaching out about a collab, and maybe down the road we can, but I'm not interested in this time." They're like, "Well, we haven't even talked business." I said, "Oh, no, I understand that. I'm just not doing collab work right now," because it's probably pretty known to most of the people in the underground scene that follow me. It's very rare that I do a collab for someone else's album unless they're on the team, or it's someone I personally fuck with, such as Sleep Lyrical, Playboy the Beast, Samson, Diabolic the Monster, Donna Rise. Anyone in that circle who I do frequent work with, I will work with. But I have a lot of artists, I mean hundreds at this point, who have reached out to me about collabs, and I've just turned them down. And I don't do it in a nice way, but there's a lot of people say, "Oh, wow, I can't believe you're literally just not going to even consider it." I said, "Oh, it's because I have no desire to want to do it. And first and foremost, as I've said, I do this music for me. So if I don't care to be on your track, I don't want to be on your track." And it's not to be in a rude way. It's just saying I have a lot of things on my plate, as I'm sure most people know, and I don't have the time to do a lot of other work. And when I do have time to do work, I want to focus on my own. So it's usually a lot of times I say, you know what, I'm just not taking on collabs. There is no price right now. I'm not doing it. That shocks people. And then the other one is I throw a price out a lot of times at people and they get shocked. My going rate at this point is $250 for a verse, or 200 for a verse, 250 for a verse and hooked together. A lot of people say, are you kidding me? You know what? I've put my time in the scene and been around a very long time. I have very well connected at this point and feel that that is a fair price for me. I kill every verse that I touch. I make sure that I don't put out anything that I don't feel is top quality. But the other thing is that does two things. I'm getting paid what I feel I'm worth, for one. And two, it's telling people that, you know, I do this if I want to do it. If you can't afford the $250, it's no sweat off my back. I'm not gaining. I'm not losing. I'm happy where I'm at. But if you want to get me on a track and want to have me make the time for you, that's my going right to do so. So that it does filter out a lot of the garbage that doesn't take it seriously. Is, you know what, if you want to track, I feel that I should get the respect that Playboy the Beast gets, that Gruesome gets, that a lot of the other artists get, because I've been in this for a very long fucking time. I've done a lot of things. So that I kind of separate it that way. But you do have a lot of people that reach out, and as soon as you throw them a price, they're like, ha, yeah, I never would do that. Well, you know what? That's fine. I would never fucking work with you either, so that's okay. So I think you kind of have to do that with things. And that goes back to the whole spamming thing. And a couple of the comments that were left on that, and with the feedback, is, you know, Red had said feedback is critical to growth and getting better, which it is. I mean, if you're not taking constructive criticism, you're not growing as an artist. And if you're not growing and you are staying stagnant, what's the point of even being in music? And we have Morbid chimed in here and put, why ask, though, if you can't take constructive criticism? And that's the point. If you can't take, you know, a possible insult back, then why even ask? If I ask you your opinion on something, I should be going into that knowing that you're going to give me either an answer I like, an answer that's indifferent, or an answer that I don't like at all. But you should be willing to take all three before you ask that question. So don't go into things blindly and ask a question if you're not willing to get the answer. And we have Anthony saying that I hate when people do ask for an honest opinion and can't take it when you give it back to them. As we said, yeah, I completely agree. And as Morbid said up above, I believe it's him, I can't see the name on it. He said, yes, Skippy, that works out really good. And that was whenever I was saying to send a personal message first. If you are an artist out there and you're listening in, don't just send blind messages. Don't just spam the shit out of someone. It's okay when you do what Ghost said and you tag, you know, a handful or even 50 people that you know are close soldiers, friends, fans, and family of yours that don't mind being tagged, that like it and support your music. That's different than tagging 250 and 50 of them being fans and friends, the other 200 being complete strangers, because that does nothing to help you. That hurts you. And ultimately, this is a business. You're here to market yourself, and improper marketing is only going to stifle your career. So take it from us here, you know, who've been in the scene a while. That is not the way to go about it. Do things properly. Yes, it takes a little bit longer, but there was a promotion company who no longer exists. I hired to do promotion for me. Come to find out that the way that they were doing promotion was completely different than how I would, and we had choice words back and forth of, you know, how he did business compared to how I would. And pretty much he told me that's how I do business. Well, I said, you know what, then we're done here. And he says, well, I don't give refunds back. I said, you keep the money. You obviously need it more than me. And in the way that he was doing it, it was massive, massive spamming. And the way I found this out is I started getting hate mail. I started getting all kinds of messages of saying, fuck you, don't like your music, you suck, go to hell, eat a dick, all kinds of crazy shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I getting all this hate mail all of a sudden? Well, it was because I was finding out that this guy was making posts and tagging thousands of people at a time across, you know, 200 posts. Twitter, for example, on Twitter, he was making like 100 posts a day from my Twitter account because I gave him access to this, and he was tagging all these strangers that didn't know me. They weren't even friends or followers of mine. They were just random fucking people in the universe. And he was tagging them and dropping hundreds of these posts a day over and over again. So these people weren't only getting tagged a day, they were getting tagged every day for like a month straight. All these different strangers, and we're talking thousands of them. All it did for me was damage my career a little bit whenever I gave my trust into a company that I thought was going to do good for me. So you have to be very careful in how you do that, folks. No, I don't want to jump right back in any interview questions at the moment. I do want to take our first commercial break, and when we come back from this break, we will discuss the song that we're listening to. We're going to jump into a song here from Ghozt Tha Dmented, and it's going to be Enter the Madness featuring DKM. And when we come back, we'll let him tell you guys a little bit about the song, what it, you know, who's featured on it, and what album you can find that off of. So we're going to jump into that right now. We'll be back here in a few moments on Uncovering the Underground Radio Podcast Show.
I see a couple of demons. Tells me Satan wants my fucking allegiance. Had to check if my heart was still beating. Blood on the floor, mixed in puddles of semen. They approach us, so I grabbed its skull, ripping its head in two from the mandible. My reactions are more of an animal's, a fanatic for the savage and the graphical. Stand up in the room dissolves, street glowing the color of luminol. Hooded fingers telling me I need to move along. A trail leads me to a hospital room at dawn. See myself as an infant child. Lucifer walks in with a wicked smile, hands me a blade, says it's time to reconcile. Now remove his fucking heart, put it in this file.
Into the madness, my dreams are coming alive. What is real or fake? It's really hard to decide. Into the madness, my mind is ready to die. It's only bad nightmares to you, but this is my real life.
Thought I was just thought for attention. Then I saw the devil's horns in my reflection. Animals get anxiety attacks when I'm present. Can't talk to anyone, they won't get it. The walls whisper his thoughts to me, so we talk back and forth, arguing, trying to convince me that it's all a dream. In the slip my neighbor's throats as they fall asleep. Got to admit, murder can be thrilling. Believe I collect souls to each one that I'm killing. Feel like I'm Satan with a pitchfork and ceiling. Support the cleanse a world of souls from your children. You hear that? Seize back. That's why I think like that. Only see in black. Demons laugh. Devil's giving me a task. Says you're dead. I release you to your path.
Into the madness, my dreams are coming alive. What is real or fake? It's really hard to decide. Into the madness, my mind is ready to die. It's only bad nightmares to you, but this is my real life. Into the madness, into the madness, into the madness.
All right, and we are back on Uncovering the Underground Radio podcast show. I am your host, Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment, and you just listened to Enter the Madness from Ghozt Tha Dmented, featuring DKM, both of which are on Brutal Business Entertainment. We're going to go ahead and let Ghost tell us about that song, the meaning of it, and what what caused him to write that, what album you can check that off of, and a little bit about that itself.
Yeah, you can find that track on my first Brutal Business Entertainment release, Greetings from Hades. It's like a lot of my stuff, it's a concept. Basically, the underworld and the underground merge and become one. So every track just about on there is different points of view from that aspect. And for that album, for that track, that's about a guy who basically wakes up and can't tell what's real and what's not. Is he losing his mind? Is what he sees really real? Is he really talking to the devil? Is demons really talking to him through the mirror, telling him to kill? And while he's walking around, that's basically when the merge of the underworld and the underground are coming together. So everything's starting to kind of go crazy.
No, it's a great track. I love that track. It's one of my favorites by you, actually. DKM, who obviously is the homie, great producer, great engineer, and also a great rapper, master of hooks. So check him out if you haven't out there, folks. He definitely killed the hook on this.
Yeah, and what's funny is I actually wrote a different hook for that. When I sent it to him to mix and master, he sent me back. He goes, "Hey, man," he goes, "your hook's really good, but when I was listening, because he actually produced the beat. So he was like, I had this hook when I first was listening to your lyrics that kind of jumped in my head. So I went ahead and I recorded it, and go ahead and I want you to hear it." And I listened to it. I was like, man, that's really good. And I think I'm going to go with that. And I still have the other version, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to release that when I do the remix album that's going to come out later in this year. So I still have that because I'm going to have DJ Gucci White Kid is doing a complete remix album. And so he's going to do a whole different beat, and we're going to use the original hook that I wrote for that track.
Absolutely. I think it's great to have remixes from time to time and do something a little bit different, a little bit fun for the fans. So I was actually just about to mention maybe you can use that down the road for some type of remix. And then I just remembered before I said it or was about to say it that you did mention in the bio that there would be a remix album coming up. And you already kind of jumped ahead of me there and said it, which is great. So that's awesome. Fans out there listening, make sure you check that out when it comes out to hear kind of a different spliced version of the same song. It's always fun to hear how you can make the same creation into two different creations. So I think we're definitely looking forward to that. I want to jump into, a little bit with you, Bella, and why don't you tell us something that I think the fans probably wouldn't know out there about you two that I personally know that I think is very interesting. And, I think you guys have been very fortunate in all the people you've met and all the great things you've come across. You guys are horror junkies and con junkies. And I know that you guys go to a lot of cons and meet a lot of different actors and personalities within the scene and have, got a lot of fun interactions with people of that nature and also have picked up a lot of great memorabilia, a lot of it signed, that you guys have a great, impressive collection. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that as a passion of yours and maybe your favorite moment or favorite person to meet throughout going to the cons?
Well, my favorite person to meet is always Michael Rooker.
Boo.
It's pretty funny. First time I met him, we were on our honeymoon, actually. We went to a con for
First
the
time
honeymoon.
you met him.
That's what I just said, if you'd listen to me.
Yeah.
So we were going to get a picture with him. I know he's like an older dude and everything, but he's always been kind of one of my celebrity crushes. I got a thing for old men, if y'all can't tell.
Yeah.
I was real excited to meet him. We go up to get this picture. It is the funniest thing. I will have to find it and send it to you sometime. Ghost looks like the side bitch. He had me get closer to him, and somehow I ended up basically like sitting on his lap. His hand is like right on my ass, and Chris is just standing there smiling, totally clueless to the whole thing.
That's fun.
Congratulations on getting married. Here's my hand on your ass.
I will accept it. Every time we end up doing a con with him, I always end up having some sort of very acceptable interaction with him that I do not complain about. Because, like I said, he's a celebrity crush and one of my favorite people. But it's really cool going to these cons. You get to meet people you never thought you would meet. Like Ghost One hero, Adam West, he got to meet him and was actually speechless for the first time since I've met him.
Every time I've met him, I've been speechless. Since I was a little kid, every time I meet him, I could talk to any celebrity, never have any problem, have conversations. I have good relationships with like Kane Hodder. Like we went up to Kane Hodder's table, and he was like, "Hey, do we have a deal this time?" And I was like, "No, I'm not doing," because usually you have to do 100 pieces or more for Kane to get the $20 deal. And he was like, "Well, we're fam, whoop whoop," and and was like, "Yeah, you're only doing 30 pieces, $20 a piece. Just don't tell nobody." But yeah, go ahead.
But it's really cool to meet these people that you idolize, that you watch on TV, that you see in movies, and you get to talk to them and just realize they're real people. They have really fun personalities. They joke around. They laugh. They're real. It really puts that into perspective for you that people are just people, no matter who they are or what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Now you
Absolutely, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't get, and we kind of mentioned that in some of our past shows, and it's still partially like that, but as far as people create who they think an artist is of some sort or an actor, things like that, but most of the time you read a book, you don't really think you know who that person is. You don't watch a movie and think you know who that person is to an extent. Sometimes you do a little bit, but for the most part, you know that that's a role or that's just their book. But I noticed in music, like I said, it's something in the past where you make up a character a lot of times of who that artist is. If you listen to rap and you listen to Chris Webby, you listen to Prozac, you listen to who anybody that you might like, and you automatically start to think, oh, I know what this person's about. I never understood why that is, because at the end of the day, we're all just regular people that have an art, and we sometimes, our art does express ourselves. Sometimes it's completely opposite of who that person you think would be. You meet them, whether actor or artist, and they start to talk to you, and you're like, oh, wow, this person's not at all who I thought they would be. It's always weird to me that why did you think they would be any specific thing without actually knowing who they are? It's just kind of odd how in the arts that happens.
Yeah, over the years, like I said, I got to have, a lot of people that idolize certain people, and it's cool that you can actually walk up to them and they go, "Hey, how you been?" And you give hugs and you talk to these guys. And like she was saying, there's two people in this entire world that I've met, and I've met several times, and they're two of my idols. And when I met them, I can't talk. Like Adam West, I've met him several times, and I just can't talk. And one time, he's like, "You never say anything," and then Burt Ward's like, I can't get him to shut up. I was like, yeah, you're just Robin. Just joking with him because, I've done signs with him so many times over the years. And he was talking, Adam was talking to Megan, was like, I can't get this guy to ever say a word. He's like, well, you're his Batman. And he's like, yeah, I've never got him to really talk. I was like, yeah, he'll say something. I'm just like, nod, yeah. And the other guy's Gene Simmons. I've met Gene Simmons. I actually won a contest years ago where I got a limo ride with Kiss and got to go out to dinner and went backstage right before their revenge tour. They were doing smaller venues and got to meet them. And Gene Simmons, I'm just sitting in the limo like, but I'm a teenager, and I'm just, I don't know what to say. So Gene Simmons tells like a dirty joke to just, try to crack the ice. And then I started talking and he's like, okay, man, shut up, but it was just a really cool experience. And every time I've met him since, I'm just like, hi, like a little schoolgirl. Got to meet like someone from New Kids on the Block. So it's.
Well, I mean, you are obsessed with Batman and Kiss, so I mean, it makes sense that the two people out there in the world that really would kind of leave you, dumbstruck and can't talk would be, obviously the lead singer of Kiss and obviously Adam West, the original Batman. So I mean, it makes a lot of sense that those would be the two.
Yeah, well, Michael Keaton kind of like every time I've met him 3 times and. I'm sort of the same way. Val Kilmer, I have no problem talking to Val, but
I got a little tongue-tied at Evan Peters. I
she gave Evan Peters a hug,
and I almost died. It was better than sex.
And I joked with him. I said, "You're causing a divorce." He goes, "Oh well," But
I've met a lot of artists and a lot of influential people, and I've yet to, I guess, find my Adam West, so to speak. I've met a lot of people, and I've never really been one that's been like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting this person, or completely silenced by them. I've always just kind of looked at artists in a different light than most. So I'm just like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? There's a lot of times people around me be freaking out about an artist or someone out there, in the field, and can't talk and this and that, and I just walk up, I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? I don't know. I just never looked at it like that. It's just one of those weird things, but I completely understand why people get that way. It's just, for myself, I've never experienced it. But I mean, those are obviously some big names. You guys have met a lot of impressive people. Your collection of memorabilia is truly one of the best that I've ever seen, and I've seen several. It's very impressive, especially the Batman collection. So that's awesome that you guys have such a passion in that. And able to not only, be husband and wife in regular life, work together on the modeling, the music, the wrestling, but also go and enjoy cons together and be in that part of it as well. So that's definitely really cool, for fans out there that didn't know that, now they do.
And plus, I have her carrying the bin around.
Yes,
she's the bin bitch too, not just the merch bitch. She's the bin bitch.
Yep.
Because I carry a big ass bin around to the cons. And Anthony, who's listening right now, he'll even tell you he sees us at cons all the time. And Anthony, shout out to Anthony. He comes to all of our shows, and
love you, Anthony.
Love you, Anthony. He's one of the best BB fans out there, man. We, mad love for him. We run into him at the cons all the time, and he sees I always have this big blue bin full of merch because I'll go up to a table and I drop like 50 pieces on guys and 10 pieces on guys. And it's just easier instead of having to run back and forth with a bunch of stuff. And she's kind of like she carries the the paint pens and all that fun stuff too. So. Yeah, it's good.
Well, question for you guys. So since you go to cons a lot and you've met a lot of people, who's one of the people, and individually, you can tell me, who's one of the people that normally frequent a con that you've yet to meet that you've really wanted to? Because, I mean, you got some people that are always doing cons all over the United States, and you maybe just one way or another, you always seem to miss them. Because that's happened to me musically. There's been several artists that I've seen almost everyone on the planet, but there's been several, artists over the years that for some reason, every time they come around, I can't make it, I can't see them. And over time, I've slowly checkmarked most of them off. But who, for each of you, is the one actor, one personality that you've yet to meet that you really want to?
He doesn't come this way too much. He stays usually on the other side of the United States. But that's another giant celebrity crush I have, and I need to meet him at some point.
Who was that? Because you guys cut out a little bit during it. Who did you say?
That was Bruce Campbell, but that's changing in October. She's going to finally get to meet Bruce Campbell in October. I've met him probably 5-6 years ago, actually about a year before we actually got together. was like maybe the second or third time I've met him, but it's usually quick because he was like the bigger Wizard World cons or like those real big ones where you're basically rushed through the table. But he's at not horror room. He's Monster Mania, and Monster Mania. Those ones are really intimate. Like where you get to talk to the guys, and they'll sit there and bullshit with you. Like they had Phil from Pantera a few years ago, and he sits there and he'll bullshit with you for a while. But the one that I've never got to meet her at a con. I've met her at poker tournaments. Was Jennifer Tilly.
Oh my God, yes.
And that's another one for my wife is I've actually never got to sit there and actually at a convention and get a bunch of stuff signed from her. I've actually been in poker tournaments over the years and actually been on a table with her. And you don't want to sit there and be like, hey, I'm a huge fan when you're trying to take her chips. But
exactly, you got to keep it, focused on the cards.
Right.
Oh, that's great, though. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, why don't you also tell me, Ghost, I mean, this one's kind of sided towards you. You've played in music, with a lot of artists over the years, whether it be on your own, and I mean, you certainly have played with quite a few, names over the years as well. But who is it that first off, who is the favorite artist that you've been able to work with, either on a collab or just performed with? And then secondly, who is the one artist that you still is your ultimate goal to work with?
Well, for the album Greetings for Hades, I was actually approached and was offered a collab with Boondocks. So I made that happen. I actually had DKM was actually supposed to be on that verse. And I hit him up. I was like, hey, man, I know that I was going to have you on that song, but if you don't mind, I'll get you on the next one because I want Boondocks on it because I was offered a Boondocks collab, and DKM was like, oh yeah, no problem. He completely understands. So yeah, Boondocks, that was cool to be able to get Boondocks on a track for that album because having the first release for BBE, it was good to have some pretty good collabs on that album. Lex the Hexmaster and Razakel and you and a few others, and my heterosexual life partner Delirious, who I got him part of the team. He was also stuck in that shitty ass label that we were on. Basically, we weren't being used right. I was just getting used for my people that I knew, and being a promoter and putting guys on shows. But someone that I haven't got to work with that I would like to work with. Probably Tech.
I mean, that definitely would be, a big name for, I think, a lot of people in the scene. I mean, we've been fortunate enough that we've got to share stage with him last year,
right.
Here in Pittsburgh, which was an honor. And surprisingly enough, I think a lot of people would be surprised to say he's not on my top list of artists that I would want to work with. But I mean, I still certainly respect the man, everything he's built. He's an amazing artist. It wouldn't make my top 3, but he's definitely up there in the top.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and backtrack. The more I thought about it, believe it or not, instead of Tech, it would be somebody that's on Strange, but it would be Chris, because Chris Calico actually is my favorite artist. And you've heard me say this before. He's my favorite artist on Strange. Like, musically, I think he's the most talented artist on Strange. I mean, not only can he chop, but he can rap, he can grind, he can sing. His writing skills are so well. I mean, the way he can bend his style to go with any beat is just, to me, I think he's musically the best artist on Strange. And
he's definitely phenomenal. I mean, there's no comparing his talent. He is multi-versed in multiple ways. And I think it was either Jay the Nightmare or Lyrazone, one of, our last 2 episodes that we did, one of the 2 of them actually mentioned Chris Calico as who they would be, ultimately wanting to work with as well. So that's funny that he's come up again because, I mean, he deserves it. He's an amazing artist. And, I mean, shout out to Tech Nine. We love his music, love everything he's done. But I would be the first to say that I don't care if anybody agrees or not. Tech would never have made it as far as he has without Chris Calico. I mean, and vice versa. They both have really built each other up. But, without Chris, Tech just wouldn't be able to do the things he's done. They are a perfect pair there.
Oh, I agree 100%. I mean, some of Tech's best songs has Chris on the hook.
Absolutely. you have to have that guy that you work with on the hooks. I mean, for you, it's Delirious, and I mean, shout out to Delirious, an amazing artist as well. He's recently released some new music, and also just recently put up a exclusive track on the Anthems from the Asylum mixtape here from our label, Brutal Business Entertainment. But dude's always crushing his verses. Hookmaster absolutely crushes the hooks. We mentioned DKM earlier, who's always been my guy, who's obviously worked with you as well, and I've worked with Delirious. It goes both ways. But both of those are just phenomenal artists that, you know, they are awesome on hooks. They're great on verses, you know, and DKM's, you know, aspect, great on production and engineering. It's great when you have that person who is your Chris Calico, who is your Akon, whatever names you want to use out there, that you know you can count on them. If you need a song and a hook, another part of a verse filled in, that they're going to come in, they're going to do justice and kill it.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I don't want to, jump much more into anything else until we go to another commercial break. We're going to play your second song, come back and capture a couple more quick questions, and then we're going to wrap it up for the evening. This one went very quick. It always does on the great interviews. So, we're going to jump into another song and come back and capture the feeling and momentum behind that song. And this next song is actually Ghozt Tha Dmented single solo track for the Anthems from the Asylum mixtape that just recently released through the label, that you can find on Bandcamp, you can find on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, anything out there that sells online digital music. We are on there, so just search Brutal Business Entertainment, Anthems from the Asylum, and you will find 12 exclusive amazing tracks, and one of which will be the song you're going to hear right now, which is This Is War, and this is by Ghozt Tha Dmented. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground.
Ghozt Tha Dmented, Brutal Business Entertainment. We coming after everybody. Body's about to fall, y'all. Get it? Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door. Bring out your corpse. Not keeping score. Got it locked. Figure 4. Hit record. Bring the torches with the horde. Kill them all. This ain't a war. It's a massacre. This ain't a war. It's a massacre. This ain't a war. It's a massacre. Fuck the world. We'll take on every single challenger. What even is this? Ain't bullshit for 100 songs. I'm all about some shit you never done. Go suck a dong. Fucking cons not ready when I bring the wrath like a fucking con. Hellfire with fucking spine. Hold mics with bloody bombs. Come along, I'll show you death cause you overstep. I'm on with 10, bury you alive, bitch, don't hold your breath. Take that fake chain, asphyxiating till I broke your neck. Raising more hell than Motorhead, hunt y'all like Boba Fett. Fuck these underground rappers too, just little nerds. Clowns on SoundCloud, shout out down, I'm nothing to hurt. Make the rap game my prisoner, my rhythm sinister. I'm Jack the Ripper with literature, kill them when I get the urge. Been disturbed, I don't give a single fuck about your opinion. Most of these fucking rappers' vocabulary's infant. They catalogs infringement, mine's is just malignant. You don't wanna go to war with me or my contention. Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door, bring out your corpse. Not keeping score, got it locked, figure 4. Hit record, bring the torches with the horde, kill them all. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. Fuck the world, we'll take on every single challenger. This world has been corroded and filled with rodents. Motherfuckers think you owe them and looking for a bonus. Without me, you promoters would have crashed like a Bowen. Saints poet, lead them like Moses, bring in bad omens. I'm done with acting civil, bite the hand, get crippled. Opportunists all around, even fucking fans are fickle. Only there with you on top, treat us as sacrificial. Past the pistol, now I'm the devil dancing in the middle. Start with ignoramus and send them down where Hades lives. Not a fucking thought in their brain, they all just plagiarists. I'm dangerous, aimless, miscellaneous, don't play favorites. Don't give a fuck with you, a pagan, atheist, or Satanist. Better watch what you're doing inside my backyard. Don't let us catch you moving heroin powder to black tar. Turn into track stars, repercussions faster than NASCAR. Brutal business logo on your corpse, your villain still at large. Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door, bring out your corpse. Not keeping score, got it locked, figure 4. Hit record, bring the torches with the horde, kill them all. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. Fuck the world, we'll take on every single challenger. Be warned, we don't play warrior on the keyboard. board. Well, strap your whole fucking family to some C4. Your hunchback, live your mama's basement. Your ego motherfucker put you on a detour right to the seafloor. Always brutal, ain't no time for the crop babies. Most millennials like ladies while I'm spitting rabies. They hear some shit they don't like and run to find safety. I know that God hates me. I'm Satan's Tom Brady. Get on your Twitter and blog, go eat your top pods. One violence don't need a call, so fuck a dialogue. One body's outlined in chalk all on the sidewalk. Can't get in a church or a mosque, I wonder why not. If I offended you, I humbly don't give a fuck. Middle finger permanently, your bitch don't interrupt. Feel like Thanos, I'd much rather turn them to dust. But go on forever like Scissor Fist, because this is us. Is this war? Is it more? Break down the door, bring out your corpse. Not keeping score, got it locked, figure 4. Hit record, bring the torches with the horde, kill them all. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. This ain't a war, it's a massacre. Fuck the world, we'll take on every single challenger.
And we're back on Uncovering the Underground radio podcast show. That was Is This War? I messed it up before the break, guys, so I apologize. It is This War from Ghozt Tha Dmented. That's off of Anthems from the Asylum, Brutal Business Entertainment mixtape that just dropped on June 30th. You can pick that up on all major online retailers. And we were talking during the break, and something I wanted to jump back into is there's a new venture being taken on by Ghost and Bella where they are opening up their own shop, which isn't something new in itself there. They have been business owners and done a lot in that aspect, but they are taking on a new venture with what they're about to tell you. So why don't you guys go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you have coming up with the new business?
Well, something that we've been in the works for. We had a shop before, and it ended the way we didn't want it through some other circumstances I don't want to talk about. But starting in September, we're going up to another location. Eventually, we'll announce where. But it will be a professional wrestling school in one half. And then the other half is going to be a retail for like the pop culture, the autographs, the Funko Pops, the action figures, and things like that. But also we're going to be running professional wrestling shows once a month in the Pittsburgh area, under Code Red Wrestling, and brought to you by Code Red Wrestling and Brutal Business. And so, yeah, it's something that's been in the works for a little bit, and we're actually had a meeting for the second meeting today, and we're definitely going to make it happen. And more information is going to be brought to that. But while we're talking about wrestling, I'm not going to be there this weekend because I'm doing that show in Ohio, but Gucci White Kid, as always, will be there spinning his music. Code Red Wrestling, Elmore, West Virginia, at the Elmore Fire Department this Saturday at 7 p.m. It's Red, White, and True. There's a tournament for the vacated Code Red Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. And so a new heavyweight champion will be crowned. And then the co-main event is the 3 Stages of Hell, Slice versus Fleck. They've been fighting since the beginning of this year. Slice was actually fired from the company, and he's been jumping the guardrails and attacking Fleck after matches or during matches. And they're finally going to end it once and for all on 3 Stages of Hell. So that's going to be a good match. And if you're in that area, definitely check it out. Yeah.
There's going to be some crazy shit happening at that show.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to be a really good event, so I definitely think if you're out there listening and you're within the vicinity of getting there, certainly go check it out. Support, underground wrestling, support Code Red Wrestling and Brutal Business, all the wrestlers there, everybody involved in that event, as well as Gucci White Kid on our label doing, some spinning on the 1s and 2s between matches and hosting the event as far as being the DJ. So check that out. There's, a lot of great events coming up throughout the year and already many great ones we've already done. You can check that out at Brutal Business and at Code Red Wrestling. And Bella, why don't you tell us as we're wrapping up here for the evening, why don't you give us, some shout outs to who you would like to thank, for, getting you to where you are musically, and to anybody you want to thank just in partnership, anything like that, and give us some shout outs.
Well, first, shout out and thank you to Skippy Ickham for bringing me onto the team. And of course, Ghost, who I probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for him or you. So thank you guys. I want to shout out to my girls, Miss Red, Painless and Denial, and Crazy Kitty. Crazy Kitty and myself will also be at that show in Ohio with the guys. We're not doing anything crazy, just walking around, working merch. So if you're coming, be sure to stop up and say hi to us, get a picture with us. We're both really cool people to talk to. Definitely shout out to Anthony, as we already did. I just want to say love ya and appreciate you. It is so wonderful that he comes out to every show, is always showing so much love and support to not only the girls, but the guy side of Brutal Business as well. He's family. And shout out to everyone on the label. Again, we're all family, and I love all you. And of course, shout out to Phil Fleck, owner of Code Red, and the guy who is going to be training me. I wish him luck with this, and yeah.
Absolutely. I think that was a good list of people there, and obviously I'm very happy to have you on the team and a part of all of this, so I'm glad that we were able to come to a partnership there and get you out there. I look forward to everything you have to bring coming up. And Ghost, is there much more that you would like to add shout-out-wise? Sound like you got probably most of them, but I'll certainly let you jump in.
Yeah, shout out to Anthony. Shout out to everybody on Brutal Business Entertainment, the models, the artists, the bands. Shout out to Don Arias, because we have to get him out. Shout out to Don Arias. He's actually on my upcoming album that's going to be released pretty soon. Him and Genosha X. So we got Demo Demon. So we have a BBE and a SHE, the She collab on that album, and a bunch of other good stuff. So yeah. So shout out to everybody that supports me. We wouldn't be here without you guys.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, we are going to go ahead and give you some quick announcements and then wrap up the show for the evening. Before I do that, don't let me forget. Real quick, tell us one more time, guys. Bella, you can take that. Where can they check us out at? Or check you guys out at, I should say.
As always, teambrutalbusiness.com. Not only are Ghost and I on there, all the artists, a bunch of updates on what's going on with everything, shows, upcoming events, music, all that. Make sure you always check the website. I have my Facebook page, Bella Rotten, and my Instagram, Rotten to the Core. You'll be able to find some stuff on ghostthademented.com as I also figure out and get more merch myself. A lot of it will be available on his website. And when it comes to the calendar, keep a lookout because you're not going to want to miss it. And the other girls are also going to be working on a lot of merch. Make sure you...
I lost you there for a real quick second. We heard you say to the girls they're coming out with other merch, and what else?
Yep, all the girls are working on getting their own personal merch. I know Crazy Kitty is going to have a little bit of merch up at the show in Ohio herself there, so make sure you check out the East Coast Crazies merch table and pick up some prints from her. But make sure you check out all my girls' pages. Everybody's going to be having a lot of good things coming out.
Absolutely. Well, you heard it from themselves, guys. We were very happy to have them on the show, and we wish them well in everything that they got coming up, in the future here. There's a lot of great songs, a lot of great projects, the lingerie calendar, so keep your eyes peeled for a lot of awesome things here. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up for the night, but once again, thank you guys for being on the show, and we look forward to having you come back on the show again sometime here in the near future.
Definitely.
Yep.
All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and tell you about the next couple things that we got coming up. We do have a interview with Miss Red from Brutal Business as well. That'll be coming to you on the 25th, which is 2 Thursdays from now. Next week, we will not be airing the show. Got some personal things happening next week. And we will be back the following week after that as well, and that is going to be August 1st. That is going to be a show with Dmented, which is a really interesting band that I can't wait to bring you guys and interview the three of them. They're very different, unlike anything you've heard or seen, and I'm very excited to have them on. August 8th with the Bianca Jasmine Band, a touring pop band. August 15th, Newman the Nutso, underground hip-hop. The 22nd, Fubar, which is a reggae reggae, underground, hippie, stoner type jam band, which is an awesome, I actually played a little bit of them earlier tonight. Awesome band, a very big fan actually since I've met them or come across them. And the 29th, we have a Pittsburgh native underground hip hop artist by the name of Young Hearse. So check out those shows. Make sure you hit the share button and share us around to your friends. We appreciate you tuning in tonight, and much love to everybody that was listening. We'll see you next time on Uncovering the Underground Radio Podcast Show.